Hey, we are back with a brand new movie on What If Yakumo Want Naruto Picture Movie, but before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. Two figures were looking at each other at the end of a fierce battle. The mortally wounded one was a giant fox covered in scars. The other a pure white wolf with red markings and a huge sword on its back shining in a divine light. The wolf was looking with a sad expression at the fallen fox, whining a little at watching the animal look in hate and defiance at the canine warrior. Why? Why you do this to me? Is my wish to be a god that offensive? The battered, old fox said with a sad sigh as his body was slowly dissolving, blood and tears mixing on his face as he looked at the divine being in front of him. It's not that, and you know it. Your evil actions had to be stopped, and so your master, I can't let you do as you please with this land, Amaterasu the sun goddess answered, sending her thoughts to the former demon lord without hiding her own sadness. TCH. You say that. But I don't believe you. I never believed in you other gods. Look at me, the old animal said, summoning the last of his strength to stand a last time so to better show his body covered in scars and his missing eye. Look at me. Even among kitsunes I had been scorned, abused. I had to kill every one of them, and even if I gained power and experience from that, you all had to mock me by making my power easy to take away. Why do you think I accepted Yami's offer of power? Because I am corrupted? Evil? No. He had been the only one to listen to my prayers. You so-called gods ignored my pleas of help, the old fox said in anger. Had we helped you, you would have grown dependent on us, expecting us to resolve your problems for you. That is the reason why we all promised to never mingle with the affairs of mortals. Your becoming a demon and then a demon lord was only the result of your own choices, the wolf-shaped goddess replied. I guess that you all use that excuse to justify your lack of help, don't you? By telling people that lie you others can feel free from the burden of your conscience? What do you want me to do then? The goddess asked calmly, and yet with a touch of anger simmering in the back of her tone. I want you to admit that all of this is at least partly your fault. I want to hear Amaterasu, the mother of the gods, say, I am sorry, and admit her mistakes. If you all can't accept me between your ranks as a deity, then I want to see you all be humble just once in your useless existence. To look in the eyes of demons and humans and bow your heads for your mistakes, the fox answered. I can't, was the only answer. Why I am not surprised, I wonder. To think that I used to pretend to be a god myself. What an insult I was drawing on myself. At least we demons are honest to ourselves as well as towards others. You all are just whining kids afraid to be proven wrong. I pity you. All my anger towards you and the gods just turned to pity. I hope you understand how sad this is. But you probably won't. That being said, the heavily wounded fox collapsed once more on the floor before disappearing completely, leaving behind a single flower that soon withered to ashes. The only thing Amaterasu could do at that moment was looking down with a whine of her wolf body before moving towards her final enemy, the embodiment of darkness residing deep inside the Ark of Yamato. What followed had been the most gruesome and difficult battle the goddess had ever been faced with, twice drained of her power, the final time leaving her without even the smallest spark of hope to retrieve the techniques and powers the other deities had given her. As she looked at the imposing form of Yami towering over her now weakened body, now no more powerful than the one of a common wolf, she closed her eyes in wait for the final blow that would have killed her. As these few seconds separating the massive clawed hand from hitting her elongated to eternities, a single thought rang in the sun goddess' head. I am sorry. As soon as those words were formed in her mind, the population of the mortal realm reached her, giving her back her lost power and more through their prayers, returning her to her full glory as the goddess of the sun, giving her the strength necessary to banish Yami once and for all. As she and Waka moved to return to the celestial realm, Amaterasu looked a last time towards the mortal realm, a sad smile on her face as she remembered everything that had happened to bring her to her current victory. A spark of gratitude though ignited in her heart as her last lesson had come from the most unexpected source, and with an almost disinterested-looking flick of her tail, the now once again powerful goddess left a last gift to a misguided soul. I know you will use this properly. Do not waste this second chance to be great. If the gods really can't help the mortals, then maybe a so-called demon lord will be able to protect them. Now rest. One day you will return and take your rightful position as protector of this land. The goddesses said as the ark moved far and far away from the land of the mortals. Present day, Shunin exam. Forest of Death. I am sorry, my boy, but I can't let you interfere with my plans. Five-pronged seal. A man with deadly pale skin said while thrusting a hand covered in purple energy on the stomach of a blond boy with whisker marks, knocking him unconscious with the painful sensation of his chakra being sealed away. Naruto. Damn it. A boy with raven-colored hair hissed angrily, watching powerless as the blonde boy went thrown down from the huge tree branch they all were in. Do not worry, Sasuke-kun. I have not killed him. I want you to progress in this farce of an exam until the end. Here, take this. It will go well with my other gift I gave you. Ufufufufufu. See you soon. The pale man, Orochimaru of the Sonin, said with a short laugh before disappearing. As if I needed an hickey from a madman. I am straight, damn. It. Sasuke said weakly before collapsing, leaving only a scared pink-haired girl behind to take care of her fainted teammates. Seal on the blonde boy's belly. The spirits of a blonde-haired man and a red-haired woman were watching in horror-filled fascination as the seal holding back a massive nine-tailed fox kept eroding. Action followed by the gate of the prison itself that was getting covered in rust at a dramatic speed. What should we do, Minato? Why is this happening? The woman asked. I don't know. The demon god consuming seal is a very delicate sealing technique. I have not used the normal method to create a Jinchuriki because for some reason the fox had been too powerful for that. I even tried to split it in half, but I failed. The new seal above it most have damaged the main matrix enough for it to collapse. The man, Minato, answered with wide eyes. Then let's recreate it. You added part of us here for that reason, right? Kushina asked, growing more concerned at each whine the metallic gate produced as the bars kept bending at strange angles. I don't think that you will be able, I am afraid, the fox said as with a pained grumble it started to change. His fur was slowly taking a golden color with each of his long tails sprouting a brush-like shape on the tip, all of them dipped in red ink with hoods and masks just below the brushes. The central tail also had a necklace of red beads around the mask, with a last grumble of exertion a white mask with red markings, very similar to the marks of Amaterasu's divine appearance, appeared to cover his face. What? Both spirits said in surprise. Body and power separated and now back together. It's time, droned the blonde boy as he appeared in the seal. So it seems, I can't wait to be back, the fox answered as it broke free from the final restraints to move near the blonde, the two seals holding back the gate burning to nothingness. No. You will never hurt my baby, Kushina yelled while moving in front of the boy. Why should I hurt myself? Step aside, mortal, it's time for Ninetails to return. The Kyuubi answered as his body erupted into cherry petals to enter the blonde boy. Naruto. Minato yelled in fear. Unknown to them, inside the boy's mind memories old and new twisted, fused and completed each other until the two personalities of the blonde and the Ninetails became one, together and yet still separated at the same time. Yes. Hoo. Don't worry, I am fine. Wonderful even, I just got a part of me back. I guess I reincarnated in 2 pieces, and although the other 8 copies of myself still going around are indeed a work of art, they're still copies, nothing compared to the original. And I mean myself. Naruto answered with a calm smile. Copies? Kushina asked. Created at my image by a man desperate enough to try everything in his power to stop an ancient evil. It seems Yami as well was just too stubborn to die. Rest assured that I am in no danger, see? Perfectly healthy. Even more healthy than before if one has to be precise, Naruto answered. Incredible. Complete fusion, both merged into one without drawbacks. I always knew that I was badass. This only proves it, Minato said with a proud expression after studying the boy and the seal on his stomach. It all comes from my side of the family, it's genetic awesomeness, you just helped a little, Kushina said while waving him off. You wish, woman. It's the Namikaze blood flowing through his veins that makes him awesome, Minato countered. I take that you are no longer worried? The boy asked with a sweat drop. You seem and feel fine, and I know you will do the right thing and follow your judgment as you did up until now. I just hope that finding your true self has no changed you too much, Minato answered. I am pretty much both like I was before and yet different, just do not expect me to have people walk over me now that I am back into being complete. It's strange though, is like being a completely different person and at the same time being myself, he said. Follow your heart, it never failed you. We have to go, please be careful and do not become evil. That's all I ask, Kushina asked while hugging the blonde a last time while sobbing. I was given a second chance, I'll see what I can do, Naruto answered. Consider this, if you have been really reincarnated into our son, you are no longer who or what you used to be, you had new experiences and have a new life ahead of you. Whatever wrong it had been made to you now is no more, you can once again make your choices. Minato answered as he and Kushina finally dissolved. I'll see what I can do. Naruto muttered while feeling something in his pockets that was not there before. A piece of paper? He muttered while unfolding it. I am sorry. Better late than never, Amaterasu. I just hope that being into the body of a mortal won't disrupt my powers, otherwise when my time will come we two will have a little talk. Now let's see. You want me to protect these people. I hope you won't mind if I do this my way. I am still a bad boy at heart, even if no more the evil demon lord I used to be. All thanks to being reborn as a good-hearted human, of course. That too you're doing, I can guess. TCH. Stupid goddesses taking away other people's fun at being evil. Naruto said, growing a snarl at feeling his old drive to be evil missing and substituted by his incomplete self-desire of helping others. Good thing the two things compensated each other. He actually shuddered to think about the great Ninetails, acting like the style-less goofball he used to be before his reunion with his powers and spirit. He had an image to maintain, damn it. Real world, the next day. Well, what do we have here? A lonely girl with two unconscious boys. Easy pick, don't you think? A girl with long hair and a forehead protector of Sound Village said with a superior smirk. Oh, joy, a bad girl wannabe is harassing our teammate. Hoi, Sasuke Teme. Wake up. We have people that needs a lesson in manners, Naruto said, waking up with a start before kicking the other boy awake. Teach them manners? I don't know if they can learn, aren't they too weak to do that? Sasuke answered with a feral smirk, black markings already covering half his face. Wait a minute. Let me see that, the blonde said while pointing at the mark on the Uchiha's neck. Why should I? I feel great, there is nothing wrong in me, Sasuke said with a sneer. I know you do feel good, I am just curious, the blonde replied. Fine. But then I want to maul the idiots, the other answered with a growl-like groan. Hoi. Stop ignoring us. The bandaged boy of the sound team said in anger, glaring at the team of Konoha once saw the two boys continuing to ignore him, the blonde apparently reading the mark on the Uchiha's neck with narrowed eyes. Aha! Here is the problem. The idiot who gave you the mark forgot a part of him inside you, Naruto said with a smirk. Ew. Take that thing off, I don't want sick pedophiles inside my head, Sasuke said with a grimace. Oh, that's easy, the mark is still fresh so it still has to stick, the other answered, moving a finger around the seal on Sasuke's neck while muttering something unintelligible with narrowed eyes. So, take that off, Dobi, I don't want to catch some strange illnesses from that creepy guy, Sasuke said in annoyance. Another minute, almost done. Voila. Better, the former demon lord said while erasing the part of the seals around the mark containing the soul fragment before rewriting it without using a brush, thing that confused the other watching greatly. Yep. How did you do it? Sasuke answered, even while still covered in markings he seemed more relaxed, more so than before the mark was even applied. I am an expert when it comes to drawing, a little rejuvenation following a small exorcism and it was done, the blonde replied. He may have been forced to take over Rao's identity for his evil plans, but he had still read her collection of books and priest-related techniques whenever he had some free time. He hated to feel bored and those were the only books around, okay? Don't know what you did nor I care, I just care that I now have a cool power-up and at least a teammate that is useful, Sasuke said, moving around his shoulders with a relieved expression. Fuck you too, the girl if the Konoha team muttered. Such words, Sakura, I thought you loved him, Naruto said mockingly. I took care of you two idiots so I pretend some recognition, even just because I was risking my life in defending you two against a full team while you were sleeping, Sakura answered with an huff. Fine. Thank you for helping us, Sakura, Sasuke said, rolling his eyes in annoyance. Yep, thank you, sweetie, Naruto added. That's better, the girl said with a superior smirk. That's it. I am gonna kill you three and be done with it, the bandage boy from Auto said with a grunt. Can I? You can take the one with the stupid haircut, Naruto said. Hoi. The second boy of the Auto team yelled with a glare. And the girl? Sasuke asked. Sakura, what a better show than a cat fight, the blonde answered. Yes, that sounds good, the Uchiha answered with a nod. Assholes. Sakura muttered. Okay, mummyhead, I am all yours, wanna fight? The blonde asked with a smirk. Get ready then. Decapitating air. The bandaged boy was about to say when he abruptly stopped. Dosu? The second male of the team said, oh, sorry, I forgot that I am supposed to call out my attacks. Power slash, Naruto said with a fake sheepish expression. What technique? You just moved a finger in front of you in a straight line. The girl from Auto said with a raised eyebrow. Exactly, the blonde boy replied. That can't be a technique, right, Dosu? Come on, man. Answer me the other boy said with a smirk while grabbing Dosu's shoulder, only to scream in horror as the other started spraying blood from his chest before collapsing. For your information, he just fainted from both shock and pain. I held back instead of cutting him in two, Noro explained, unconcerned at seeing the Auto girl hurry up to patch her teammates so to stop him from dying. Can I go now? Sasuke asked eagerly. Yes, but do not kill him, just in case their village tries to throw a stink even when knowing the mortality rate of this exam, Naruto replied. Like this is not as funny, but okay. The Uchiha said with a pained nod before disappearing with a burst of speed, catching the Auto boy in a headlock and using that as a starting point for the beating. I guess it still drives him violent, maybe as part of the effects of the thing, Naruto mused. Shouldn't we stop him? A very pale Sakura asked. Nah. Let him vent his stress, once done we will talk with him, he may attack us too if we get between him and his prey. And if he tries to kill that boy, then we will stop him, the blonde answered. Oh, okay then, what was that thing you did with your finger? It left behind a small red trail and then that guy got cut, Sakura asked curious while ignoring Zaku, the Auto boy, pleading for Sasuke to stop. A celestial brush technique, whatever that guy did to me with that glowing hand, now I can do this, the blonde answered with a shrug. So you can do stuff with a gesture and Sasuke-kun can become super strong and slightly violent. What about me? She asked. Probably next time, he offered with a friendly pat on her shoulder. That's so unfair. Sakura moaned with a pout as Zaku passed near her flying after being thrown by the Uchiha. Okay. I am calm now. The rage stopped, Sasuke said panting as the flame marks on his skin returned, inside, the seal on his neck. How do you feel? Naruto asked. How'd I feel? Calmer, light-headed and with a more clear view of life. Sakura, stop acting like an horny whore to attract my attention and cut that hair and maybe, hear me well, maybe I might consider dating you. Naruto, that jumpsuit sucks. Your dream of becoming Hokage will be impossible until the very last bigoted, narrow-sighted bastard of this village died, and know that I know and don't care about that furry mass-murdering killing machine sealed in your stomach. That and I am actually kind of jealous about the ludicrous amount of chakra the Kyuubi gives you. Another thing, Itachi is a sick bastard with issues that should have been kept under watch by a professional psychologist while wearing a straight jacket instead of Maidanbu. That and my father was an utter megalomaniac that mistreated me my whole life by feeding me bullshit about how awesome my brother was and how much of a failure I was instead of hugging me and acting like the other fathers I saw while growing up, all backed up by my spineless mother that never had the courage to act up against the son of a bitch she married. Sasuke answered. A full minute of silence fell in the forest at those words, immediately followed by Naruto's odd whistle and Sakura nervous coughing fit. Wow. Feeling better now? The blonde asked. Sigh, very much so, yes. I guess that thing took out every dirty thought I ever had, never thought to be bottling up all that to be honest, the Uchiha boy answered. Consider this, I removed a fragment of someone else from there, probably it was a way for the mark to slowly corrupt you, without that, I guess it just forced you to feel everything 10 folds in an instant without a proper guide. Sorry, Naruto answered with an embarrassed expression. No. It's okay, going momentarily crazy had a good effect instead. Slowly it would have meant me snapping and doing something foolish or downright moronic, like this at least I had to face all the problems I always shoved in the back of my mind all at once, Sasuke answered, waving the blonde off. About the jumpsuit, it was on sale, I have not a lot of money and kind of like orange, the blonde added with a blush. Define, not a lot, please, Sasuke asked. Like in, barely enough to eat, luckily I like ramen, it's both delicious and cheap, the other answered. Kyuubi. And what about your parents? Sakura asked. Orphaned since birth, never knew them, the blonde answered. Ah. Sorry, the girl replied in embarrassment. It's okay, I don't need pity, I can take care of myself, Naruto answered with chuckle. Okay then, let's go towards the tower, I don't think that girl will attack us, Sasuke said, pointing at the shaking girl with the auto forehead protector that nodded rapidly at his words. Yeah, we better, it's getting dark, Sakura said. And, Dobi? The Uchiha said. Yes? My door is always open if you need. If you want, that is. I am not forcing you or anything, he said, sounding almost shy. Thanks, and sorry about the thing about huge reserves of chakra. If it helps, I have a disgusting control over it, the blonde said. It does help actually, Sasuke muttered. We can train together to get stronger if you want, the blonde asked. Do not push your luck, oh. But yes, at least we'll see if friends is really something we can reach as a team, Sasuke said with a sigh. Can I join? Sakura asked. If you want, he answered. Oh, before I forgot. The pink-haired girl said. Yes? Sasuke asked, growing wide-eyed once she slapped him. I was acting like that because getting desperate and attracting the attention of the boy I like. Call me whore again and I will show you what they taught us in the kunoichi classes, and it was not about flowers or tea, she said with narrowed eyes. But I was not in the right state of mind to notice girls. I am working on my issues now, the Uchiha boy said in offense. Why did you not pull out that strength before? Naruto asked. Faced with a full team after fighting a sick maniac and watched both teammates getting struck with strange techniques, discovered why my blonde teammate is the pariah of the village and watched my other teammate beat another guy half to death with his bare hands while crying like a bitch. I had to grow up a little to withstand all this, she answered. Oh, all that, he said. Yes, all that. Thank you for destroying the last remnants of my innocence as a young girl, Sakura said bitterly. Welcome to the world of shinobi. I watched my clan getting massacred by my psychotic brother and then forced to relive it through illusions, Sasuke said mockingly while presenting his hand. Never known my parents, shunned by everyone and without friends and holder of a giant fox that almost eradicated the village. Nice to meet you, Naruto said with a smirk, presenting his hand as well. Go fuck yourselves, you too, she answered before marching towards the tower in the middle of the forest. I preferred when she was all sweet and fangirlish, Sasuke muttered. Meh. Naruto answered with a shrug. Move your asses, Sakura yelled from above her shoulder. Getting in hard on? The blonde boy asked with a smirk. That's confidential, Dobi. The Uchiha boy muttered while trying to adjust his pants to hide his reaction. Forest of Death, Tower, Emergency Office of the Hokage, 2 days later. Gone. The Kyuubi is fucking gone. It was true. The Hyuga in the office said in horror. Calm down. Jiraiya. Tell me that this idiot is wrong, Hiruzen said with a disturbed tone. The seal. Well, the seal is empty, sensei. It's now pretty much a simple tattoo, the white-haired man said nervously. I already told you, whatever that blonde bastard did, it fused the furball's chakra with mine. I think I saw that guy somewhere already, but I don't remember, Naruto said with a groan. It was the lie he chose to use, even if he hated to call himself furball, but it was the term his incomplete self used, so it had to do. Well, I did teach him how to be a good seal master, and he had always boasted about being the most awesome one ever. I guess this does prove it, Jiraiya said with a weak smile. Any negative effects? The Hokage asked. He had problems walking on trees, so maybe with that chakra becoming his control went down the drain. Other than that he seems okay. Hokage-sama. Even better than before actually, he seems more focused and less. Sorry Naruto, an idiot, Sakura answered. That's okay, nothing else? Hiruzen asked. Well, there is that awesome thing he does with his fingers where. The girl started saying before giggles erupted around the office from the men in there. Not that, old man, I got some nice tricks, but I can show them during the exam, the blonde said with a groan. Sorry. What about Sasuke-san? The Hokage asked while masterfully hiding his blush. Well, for one having a cursed seal implanted on him, he is even saner than what his profile described before, so probably the thing and his own mental problems cancelled each other, Jiraiya answered. Hey. Sasuke said offended. Here said that he had a fixation for his older brother bordering on the sexual. The Hyuga in the room said while reading from a folder. It was hatred, not sexual tension. I still want to see him die, but now I decided that I won't give him the satisfaction of being the only thing I think about, Sasuke corrected bitterly. Repressed anger. The medic Nin said while he kept reading. No more repressed, he had beaten up a guy from Otto while crying about how sorry he was to not have been able to protect his mother, so I guess he took it all out, Naruto said. You managed to hear him over that guy's screams? Sakura asked. I have good ears, the blonde replied. Fear of crows, sexual attraction towards fire, unhealthy interest in tomatoes. And incontinence, the Hyuga said, closing the profile once finished. I was 10 and had wet the bed. I can't see why making a case out of that single incident, Sasuke muttered with a blush. Thank you, Hosoi. You can go now, Hiruzen said. Hokage-sama, the Hyuga replied with a bow before leaving. Now the truth. What happened to the cursed seal? Jiraiya asked with narrowed eyes. What happened? I felt malicious intent coming out from that seal, so I grabbed it and took it out. It ceased to exist as soon as it exited the mark, Naruto answered with a shrug. Malicious intent? And you just took it out of the seal? Just like that? Hiruzen asked. Kyuubi. Naruto offered with a shrug. Sigh. Yeah, probably a side effect of the bastard beast getting absorbed. Pass by Hiruzen-sensei's office once done here, boy. May as well start training you to see if the absorption gave you some nasty problems that have still to show up. Like that we should be able to resolve any problem before it turns into an issue bigger than it is, Jiraiya said with a defeated sigh. For now join the other genin for this part of the exam, we will deal with everything later, like the new rounds of meetings with a counselor for Sasuke-san and a new studying of the cursed seal he has, Hiruzen said. Hi, Hokage-sama, the three young genin said with a bow, leaving the small room rapidly. Did you ever have the impression that the idiots are the ones in charge here? I love the old man like I would with my grandfather, but he accepted everything just too fast once blamed the Kyuubi, Naruto asked. Idiots in charge? For some reason. No, I am not as surprised as I think I should be. Sakura muttered in answer. Me too, Sasuke added. Back in the office, what do you think? Hiruzen asked in worry. The kid took it very well, poor boy. He is in denial about turning into an half-human half-Biju hybrid. Jiraiya muttered sadly. He doesn't know or accept that the seal collapsing had changed him. The old Hokage said, covering his face to let out a small sob. That Hyuga freaking out at seeing not human chakra in his system sure could have been a little more discreet in calling us. Poor Naruto must have been shocked at seeing an adult act like that. Are you sure Minato had not planned this since the beginning? The old man asked with a pained sigh. No sensei, he probably wanted the seal to slowly absorb the fox chakra so that in several years the Biju would have been truly dead. Orochimaru must have disturbed the seal so much that it shoved the whole fox in the boy's chakra coils in one go. It's probably thanks to the regeneration the Kyuubi gifted him with if he was able to endure the change, the Toad Sage said. Are you gonna stop here permanently, Jiraiya? Hiruzen asked. Yes, sensei. After this close call I can't risk him to die because I wasn't here to help him. It was a miracle he survived and I can't expect another to happen. I'll alert Tsunade, maybe by telling her this she too will come here, even just to be close to him when one day Naruto will discover the truth. He is still in denial and believe he just added some chakra to his own. The spy master replied with a new sigh. While the two powerful men were drawing out a wrong conclusion after another about the whole ordeal, up in the heavens a certain sun goddess was quietly giggling to herself at seeing how mortals were dealing with the Ninetales' return. You sure are taking this in stride, babe, a small being said while jumping near her. Hello, Isun. To answer your question, yes, I have faith that between his old self and his real one's ideals, Ninetales will do great things. Good ones even. He has the heart in the right place, so I know he will become the right guardian for those people. He will just need to admit that under that bad boy attitude he is a good guy. Well, that he is one now at least, she answered with a gentle smile. We'll see. In the meantime I'll be in your oh so soft and warm cleavage if you need something. Ami. Isun the wandering artist said while taking a dive towards the very generous chest of the goddess before her two fingers grabbed the back of his tiny vest, taking the microscopic young man at eye level to glare at him. What did I tell you about doing that? She asked with a growl. Ow. Come on, it's my birthday. Isun pleaded with big, watering eyes. You said the same thing yesterday and last week as well, she answered with narrowed eyes. Please, pretty please. He pleaded. Sigh, only 5 minutes, then I don't want you to do this for at least few months. This means sneaking in any other part of my clothes as well. Amaterasu answered with an annoyed huff. Yay. Thank you. Long live the great mother of gods Ami. Isun said happily, jumping in her cleavage with a joyful wee scream. Why I have to be the good goddess? It's not worth it, she muttered in defeat. Okay, there is a lot of you here, that was unexpected, Hiruzen said while looking at the assembled genin from his place on the balcony surrounding the big arena-like room of the tower, noticing how several of them were still pale, shaking shadows of once normal humans that were now shrieking at any shadow. Still scared from whatever horrific thing they had met in the forest. You expected us to die? a daring boy from Iwa asked in disbelief. Not exactly die, I was expecting a lot more people beaten, disfigured, missing, crawling here with broken legs while dragging their half-dead companions or at least missing an arm or a leg. I personally filled the forest with eldritch abominations last week just for that, the old man answered with a shrug. No one dared to talk as the answer sank deep in their minds. Everyone no matter age or rank could only gape at the pouting Hokage that was muttering about the Chunin exams not being as hard as they were in the good old days of his youth, and even calling the presents pansies for not enduring his challenges. The only one not shocked was surprisingly Naruto. The reborn Ninetales could only clap with crying eyes while smiling widely at his dear surrogate grandfather's words. I knew there was your hand in there, Gigi. I could recognize your style anywhere, he said smiling. At least one of you showed some good tastes. Start the preliminary round, Hayate. At least we will cut the number of participants to in half, the Hokage ordered with a sigh. Yes sir. The man answered. People really should know that, God of Shinobi, is just the kid-friendly version of Gigi's nickname, Naruto said with a sigh while watching Sakura move down to fight against Kiba Inuzuka. And what is the real version? Sasuke asked. It's diabolical God of Shinobi. He used to be pretty vicious in battle. He told me so himself and showed me his personal Hall of Skulls, all trophies from his battles in the past, the blonde replied shrugging. Nice to know that. At least now I know why one shouldn't piss him off, the Uchiha boy replied shivering. Sakura is holding her own pretty well, Kakashi commented, watching the girl roll to the side to evade the boy and the drill-like tornado now encasing his body. You should have trained her better though, Naruto said as the pink-haired girl finally got hit fully on her back, sending her tumbling on the floor with a series of scratching marks on her arms and legs. He should have trained all of us better, Sasuke said to correct the blonde. That is also true, the blonde said nodding. Being such a duo of assholes is a serious lack of respect towards your sensei, Kakashi said with an offended huff. Oh. The guilt is tearing me inside, Naruto answered in sarcasm. I don't think I will be able to show my face around now, the shame, Sasuke replied with a similar theatrical sigh. Go fuck yourself, you too, Kakashi said exasperated. Winner of the fight. Kiba Inuzuka, Hayate said while Sakura was being moved outside by the doctors in the tower. Wait a minute, I have to talk to someone, Naruto said while walking towards Kiba's team. What do y'all want? The boy asked with a frown. Not you, doggy, I need your friend Shino. Can we talk a little? The blonde answered. Is everything alright? The Aburame boy asked. Nothing serious, just a doubt I need your help to resolve, the other answered. Can I? Be quick, in case you get called, Kurenai answered with a nod. Follow me, the blonde said with a simple gesture. Once in an isolated enough part of the room, the former demon lord looked at the Aburame heir intensely in the eyes in silence for a few seconds before smirking widely. Was I called just so you could annoy me? Shino asked. No, I wanted to know why you pretend to be a boy instead of admitting to be a girl, Naruto asked grinning, satisfied at seeing the boy's back stiffen at his words. I think there must be a mistake, I am a boy, maybe you need a medic to check your sight, he said before trying to leave, flinching when the other grabbed his arm to stop him. You can hide it all you want with the pheromones of your bugs, it may even fool Kiba, but my nose is in fact quite sensible and I know the difference between insects' hormones and human ones, I just need the reason. I won't tell the others, he said with a serious expression. Do I have your word? Shino asked without looking back. I was hoping that by now my ability to keep my promises was of public knowledge, the blonde answered. Indeed. It had been decided to do this so to keep the most daring pursuers at bay. The Aburame clan actually doesn't care about having an heir or an heiress, but I preferred to ask my being a girl to be kept a secret. I find certain boys to be too direct in their approach to girls. The bug user replied with a voice now sounding feminine. That was the longest answer I ever heard you give to someone. Cute voice by the way, Naruto answered. Thank you. I use chakra to have my voice drop enough to appear masculine, but it puts a great strain to my vocal cords so I am forced to give short answers, or to not talk at all, Shino answered nodding. And the high collar of the jacket covers the lack of Adam's apple, just like the sunglasses. The glasses have another reason, one that I can't give you. Are you satisfied by my answers? The girl asked. Nope. I need two other to be happy, Naruto said with a sing-song voice. What are those questions? Keep in mind that I may not be able to answer them though. What's your name? The real one, not very different, it's Shinobu. I found no reason for me to change it completely, Shinobu answered. Sounds reasonable. The second question. You talked about a too direct approach from the boys. What would be the correct way to court you then? The blonde asked. I don't think that I understood the question, the Aburame heiress asked with a worried tone. To put it bluntly, you intrigue me, Aburame Shinobu. There is something in that calm attitude of yours that I find nice and even relaxing. Is there any possibility for me to know you better? He answered. What about Sakura-san? And there is another person that might be heartbroken at hearing you, the girl answered. Sakura made her choice in pursuing Sasuke. A near-death experience in the forest helped me understand that I was fighting a losing battle. As for Hinata, I may find her cute, but she is not what I am looking for in a woman. The best I can do is offer her the best alternative to still make her happy without starting a relationship. Naruto answered. What should be this best alternative? Shinobu asked with a raised eyebrow. Trust me, it will work. You still have to answer me, by the way, the blonde said. I'll need to speak to my father about this. Can I still count on you about keeping my being a girl a secret until I decide? The girl said. No big deal. It's not like you were asking me anything hard, he answered with a shrug. Thank you, I'll send a bug to see if he can reach me. In the meantime please resolve everything with Hinata-san, Shinobu answered before reverting to a deeper, male-sounding voice and sending out a solitary bug of hers. I am going, Naruto said with a sigh while walking towards the rest of the girls' team. Winner of the fight. Sabaku no Tamari, Hayate called out while a thoroughly beaten Ino got carried out still rambling in pain. You seem troubled, son, a voice said from behind Shinobu. I am surprised it took you such a short time, father, the girl answered bowing. I was coming here to see how things were evolving. Your bug found me once I was halfway here. What is the emergency? Shibi Aburame, head of the Aburame clan, asked. It seems that I had been recognized as a girl. Shinobu answered with her voice returning to normal. Are you being harassed? The surprisingly protective father asked with unseen narrowed eyes. No, the boy in question has formally requested to know the proper way for him to court me and promised to keep my secret even in case of refusal on my side. I kind of need assistance in deciding what to do, the girl replied. I see. Who is the boy? Shibi asked. That is indeed the problem. He is the village Jinchuriki, she answered with a microscopic sigh. Ah, does this disturb you? Shinobu asked. Not exactly, I am more concerned for Hiyoshi's daughter and your personal opinion on the matter, Shibi answered. Oni-chan. With a cry of pure joy Hinata was seen pouncing on the blonde boy to snuggle on his chest while he patted her head in affection. I guess he just talked her into accepting him as her new, big brother, more than probable fiancé, Shinobu answered. She also seems happy of that. It's true then that between her and her cousin Neji there are serious issues, since she approved so easily, Shibi added. I may find interesting to have him court me. He seems to have calmed down a lot since after the first part of the exam while retaining his eccentric nature. Does he have the permission? Shinobu asked. I would prefer him asking me directly, then it will be up to you as long as you do not feel forced into accepting, her father answered. I'll have him know. Please though, try to not scare him, she answered. I can't promise you that, it is still in my rights as your father. If you don't mind, I will now go talk to him, the man replied before moving to talk with the blonde boy. Next fight. Shino Aburame vs Takaru Omoeida aka, a filler character that will soon fade in the background and will never be mentioned again. Can you please come here? Hayate said. It's Takaru Amida. And why everyone always call me like that? An average-looking boy from Grass Village said with a whine. We are not here to talk about your total lack of importance for the plot, so shut up and take a fighting stance if you know one, the proctor answered with a glare. I hope you won't hold this against me, Shinobu said while opening her arms wide to summon a thick cloud of bugs behind her. I'll show you. I am going to have my own manga with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the manga, the boy from Grass Village answered. Too slow, Shinobu said while dodging the boy's left hook, countering it by taking a hold of his outstretched arm and rapidly covering the whole appendage in bugs. Arg! Takaru shrieked while trying to free his arm by wildly flailing it around. Sigh. They do not make good filler characters anymore, Shinobu muttered while covering both her fists in bugs and charging the genin from Grass Village. Swarm knuckles, she said while hitting Takaru with a rapid flurry of punches, every hit leaving on his body part of the bugs and absorbing the boy's chakra at every touch. As soon as the grass genin started swaying in evident exhaustion, Shinobu dropped on the floor to swipe his legs off with a low kick, stomping on his throat and keeping her leg immobile with just enough force to pin down the boy. Surrender would be appreciated, Shinobu said with a raised eyebrow. Takaru didn't answer, his eyes were already empty and his body immobile. He is unconscious already. That's sad. Winner of the fight, Shino Aburame, Hayate called out with a displeased tone. Hoi, Shino? Naruto yelled from the balcony. Yes? Sorry. The blonde said with a smirk. Sorry for what? The Aburame girl asked while walking up the stairs. For this. The boy said before grabbing the front of her jacket to kiss her hungrily, silencing the whole room in an instant. I admit that I asked for a proof of your interest in my daughter, but this is still a too direct approach, Shibi said with a sigh. Dude. You are into boys. Not that there is anything wrong. But really? Why you never told us? Kiba asked with wide eyes. I am actually a girl, Kiba. Shinobu said with her normal voice and a slight tinge of red on her face. Fuck. I forgot about the too direct thing. It means that I screw up already? Naruto asked. I can forgive you this time, she muttered weakly. So a kiss is okay? He asked. Yes, more than one too. The girl answered embarrassed. Cool. You will be able to talk later. Lovebirds. Now is Blondie's turn to fight, Hayate said while pointing at an already impatient Kankuro. Hoi. When you and Yugo scratch each other's tonsils through kissing, I never bother you, you damn hypocrite. Naruto answered annoyed. Just fight the Suna brat and shut up, the blushing Proctor answered with a frown. Okay. It's me against you, War Paint Boy, the blonde said smirking. Glad someone finally understood that it's not makeup. Ever since I came here it was a joke after another. I think I have heard every single joke about it, Kankuro said happily. I don't blame them, but enough bullshits, Hajime, Hayate said before starting the fight. Go and get him, Karasu, Kankuro yelled while launching his puppet forward in a clacking of wooden joints. How to counter? What about a Galestorm? The blonde said lightly licking the tip of his pointer before rapidly drawing a spiral in front of himself using that finger and leaving behind a thin line of red ink-like substance that then immediately vanished. To the shock of the ones watching, a powerful, overwhelming gust of wind moved forward from the blonde towards the Suna boy, blowing back the puppet and pushing Kankuro several steps back. Even the audience watching had to cling to the railing to not be blown away. Wonderful. If you don't mind, I will follow with another trick of mine. It's called Cherry Bomb. The blonde said while this time drawing a circle with a thin line moving through it in a Q-like shape and summoning a huge sphere wrapped in yellow near the puppet user with the ball's fuse already halfway burnt. Oh. Fuck? Kankuro had the time to say before an humongous krataboom shocked the whole tower in a shower of pink and purple fire and sparks forming a shape very similar to the Kabi. Kanji, shiny, flashy. I am still standing. You won't defeat me, the Suna boy said groaning while walking out of the cloud of smoke, limping, heavily bruised and showing burning marks under his tattered clothes. Even the puppet was still smoking and missing part of its clothing, rags. Up in the stands. Sigh. What can I say? I can turn even a dead last into a cool shinobi. But don't worry, it's not actually your fault, guys. It's just not for everybody to instill awesomeness into everyone around you. It's one of those skills you either have since birth or not at all, Kakashi said with a dramatical sigh while checking his nails in a casual manner. Kakashi. Asuma muttered with narrowed eyes and a growl in his voice, just like pretty much everyone within earshot. Oh, it's okay. I can understand your anger, but it's not my fault if I have this hidden bloodline able to unlock true badassery in my students, the masked Junin continued saying while flexing his muscles in an exaggerated manner. Kakashi, shut the fuck up. Every other Junin instructor present yelled at the same time while glaring at the man in pure fury. Che. You are just jealous about one of my genin students kicking more ass than yours, the man answered while crossing his arms in childish offense. I swear, one more word and you'll know true pain, Kurenai hissed in answer. Back to the fight. How can you do that? It's unfair. You are cheating. Kankuro yelled with a shrilly voice broken by his uncontrollable rage. Are you by chance jealous of my magic fingers? I can just do very magical things by just wiggling my pointer if I want to, the blonde replied smirking. I'll show you whose fingers are better, the puppet user said while sending his weapon on a new charge against Naruto. The former nine-tailed demon lord watched in amusement while the wooden toy moved closer, Once arrived at barely few feet from his body, he just dragged a line from one of the torches to the puppet, summoning a long tongue of flames that almost incinerated Konkuru's weapon had the Suna boy not immediately called it back with an high-pitched scream of surprise. That was close. Did you like? The technique's name is Inferno, fitting isn't it? The blonde asked. The fact you also spelled your name with those flames was a bit too much, Konkuru answered with a dull voice. TCH. As if you would understand what real art is, whatever. This fight lasted even too much. I am going to cut your puppet in half if you don't mind, Naruto said with a bored voice. With what? This puppet is made of mahogany, and not just any mahogany, but mahogany from the planet Malchior 7 where... Stop, 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 don't quote Team 4-star, it's not a funny joke anymore, stop feeding the cliché. This story was interesting until you did that, now it's just a mass of unreadable shit. Why don't you just stop and go die in a ditch? Naruto said while shaking his head with a grimace. Damn you. Die you flamer. Don't read, Konkuru screamed in anger as he blindly attacked the blonde. It was simple to use the celestial brush techniques if you asked the former demon lord. Once reached the utmost ability as an artist, one then just needed to see the world as a simple painting where each new drawing translated into reality itself, transforming to follow the artist's ideals. If one also added to this the ability of higher beings, like Amaterasu and in minor part the reborn Ninetales himself, to see the world with a deeper enough perception to have time seemingly stop when they focus, then everything did gain the semblance of a simple picture waiting for a brush to add details. And once Karasu the puppet did stop in front of Naruto, all the reborn Ninetales had to do was drawing a thin line cutting the wooden thing vertically in half before letting his sense return to a more normal state, making time flow again and the scroll the young man had envisioned reality as to disappear. Sure thing was that from an outsider's point of view the action lasted an instant before the two halves of the puppet flew in two different directions before passing the blonde genins both sides, leaving him unharmed in the middle. Fu. The Suna boy yelled with bulged out eyes. And now, the grand finale. Why stopping at 3 when one can summon dozens of cherry bombs? Naruto said before moving his hand in a blur and summoning above Kenkuro's head few dozens huge bombs. I give up. I give you. The puppet user screamed while covering his head with both arms. Yay. The blonde replied with a wide grin before destroying the cherry bombs by drawing a long line in front of himself and dispelling them thanks to the resulting power slash. Cool. Winner of the fight, Naruto, Hayate yelled to the audience. It wasn't hard, next time I will show something even better, the blonde said smirking. Once walked back to his team he found himself with his head locked under Kakashi's arm. See? This is my student. This is what my badassery produced, the masked Junin proclaimed proudly. Naruto, dear? Can you step to the side so to leave us beat your sensei within an inch of his life? Kurenai asked with a gentle smile while leaning down to look the blonde in the eyes. Well, technically I should defend him, the young man muttered. Please? Onisan is just tired to hear him boasting about nonsense, the woman asked again with her sweetest voice. Okay, the blonde answered sighing. Traitor! Kakashi screamed as Asuma and Guy grabbed him to start the beating. Thank you, in exchange I'll be sure to leave Shinobu go away a little earlier from training so you will have a little date, she answered while giving to the boy a small kiss on his forehead before joining Kakashi's beat down and smiling at the blonde's flushed face. So you have a girlfriend now? What about me? I was used to have you trying to win my affection while Sasuke idiotically wasted the opportunity to accept my advances, Sakura said with an offended frown while rejoining her team with a limp and a bandaged arm. Hoi! I have every right to grow interested in another woman, thank you, Naruto replied. And by the way, am I not enough? Sasuke added. Hoi! I have 2 Bishonen boys in my team. May as well take advantage of it, what's wrong about the girl having an harem, or at least, 2 boys 1 girl pairing? For once, the pink-haired girl answered with crossed arms. Pervert. The 2 boys answered while smacking her on the head with enough force to slam her down and leave an imprint of her body on the tiles. Somehow, I think things got mixed up here, the girl muttered from the floor. After that little show of Team 7's daily madness, the remaining fights could continue as scheduled with Sasuke demolishing a glasses-wearing shinobi that could stretch his limbs at will. Choji flattering a Kusa girl against a wall with his clan's jutsu turning his body into a giant ball and Lee using his mastery of taijutsu to show that even if your enemy could absorb chakra by touching you, Once broken his arms, the ability becomes useless. Well, that went surprisingly well, Kakashi said in satisfaction. You sure? That Kumo boy has lost both his arms while that girl from Iwa will forever eat through a straw. Sasuke said with a raised eyebrow. And Ino has lost 90% of her hair, eyebrows comprised. Sakura added with an horrified expression. But no one is dead, it's a good variation from the usual genin exams. I remember that during mine I saw a kid from Suna swallow by mistake an explosive note. They had to postpone the remaining fights because the cleaning squads couldn't clean up everything fast enough, Kakashi answered shrugging. Whatever. I am hungry, who wants to come with me? I got a craving for some pork ribs, Naruto said annoyed. Coming, I am starving. Kakashi answered while following the blonde. Bah, better than nothing, make room, I joined the group, Sasuke answered. Me too, Sakura added. Later that day, apartment complex. The reborn Ninetales was still studying the shack in everything but name his old self used to live with a grimace. Letting out a sigh of dismay, he started moving through the various pieces of ruined furniture. A lot of rejuvenation to do. Hooray, he said in bitter sarcasm. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, a new young voice said, giggling from behind him, scaring the blonde to the core. What the? Aren't you too old to play games, mother of the gods? The young man said, turning to glare at the divine intruder that was sitting on his couch with a wide smile on her face. I couldn't help it. Seeing the mighty and powerful Ninetales reduced like this was an open invitation to some light teasing, Amaterasu answered. She was now sporting the body of a young white-haired girl seemingly of the same age of the blonde one the fox was using. What do you want exactly? Jokes can't be the only reason you came down from heavens, he asked. Congratulating you for finally returning for once, and to actually see if you would have really acted as a good guy, she answered. Never, I am a bad boy at heart. You can't expect me to play the hero no matter how much I should how you for technically giving me a second chance, Naruto answered in offense. You can deny it all you want. But I know that deep inside you would actually enjoy being acknowledged everywhere for your heroic exploits, Amaterasu countered, her smirk never faltering. Do not, the blonde snapped childishly. Do, the mother of the gods replied, sticking out her tongue. Do not, do. No, Ninetales replied with the whiskers on his human face getting thicker. Yes. Amaterasu yelled back with her own face gaining the same red lines of her wolf form. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. 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 The fox said, snarling in rage as claws took the place of his hands. Yes. 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 Amaterasu replied in similar anger. I said no, and I said yes, 10 minutes later. Yees. Oh goodness, yes. A big wolf with her fur as white as snow howled as the nine-tailed fox behind her kept thrusting inside her with all his power. Oh, by the way, the scene may contain strong images, be advised. Take it like the dog in heat, you areee. Ninetales replied as both animals kept rutting savagely in a scene of furry sex of epic proportions that would clearly continue well into the night. Several hours later, the two animals were still going at it savagely, the fox plowing inside the wolf with every bit of power his muscles could draw to make the other scream in ecstasy as the screams and flesh-on-flesh slaps kept filling the room's walls and beyond, while obscene wet sounds filled every thrust of the former demon lord inside the mother of God's wet womanhood, or wolfhood to be precise. Do you like it? Tell me you like it, you horny dog? The Ninetales asked as he kept unleashing load after load inside the great wolf goddess. I am not an horny dog. I am not a dog in heat. I am Amatera, O gods. The mother of the gods tried saying before a new flood of warmness erupted inside her, turning her divine brain into divine goo as both collapsed on the old bed of the apartment, now reduced to just splinters by the strength of the copulation. Now the two animals, one a white female wolf and the other a light-colored nine-tailed fox, were just resting on the wreckage in a very human-like spooning position while panting for air. That was unexpected. Oh, so good, but unexpected, Amaterasu said with a low voice. You think other people heard us? The fox asked, curious. Hokage compound Hiruzen stood lying in his bed with eyes wide open in shock, just like everyone in Konoha guests comprised, and wondering who was the couple that made all that noise in their savage rutting. Wow. The old man muttered in wonder. You never made me scream like that, Hiruzen. The man's wife, yes, she survived, muttered in disdain before giving him her back with an huff, humiliating him further. Back to the apartment. I don't know actually. What I know is that I will be forced to stick around now, Amaterasu answered while snuggling closer to Ninetales. I beg you pardon? The fox asked with a cringe. One does not simply fuck the mother of the gods. You'll have to take responsibilities, Amaterasu said with a sing-song voice. Shit, the former demon lord said as he reverted into his blonde human body. As if you wouldn't enjoy having me around, the girl replied giggling. But I have a girlfriend now, what about her? He asked. She can join. And do not deny it, you like the idea as, someone, here just nodded in acceptance, Amaterasu said while cupping the, certain someone, that twitched again at her touch. You traitor. He hissed at his crotch. A shame the human body you use it's still too young, but we can still use the animal ones. By the way, I saw you use some of my celestial brush techniques. Are you copying me? The goddess asked with narrowed eyes. Yes, he replied smugly. I was keeping track of you the whole time and learned some tricks from you, Naruto said smirking. How much have you copied? She asked with a glare. Oh. Nothing much, he answered as he nonchalantly used his finger to draw a circle in the sky making the sun rise pretty much 5 to 6 hours sooner than normal. Pretty much every trick you know to be exact, the Ninetales said. You are an asshole of the utmost degree. Amaterasu muttered in childish anger as she kicked him out of the ruined bed. And for that you sleep on the couch tonight, she then yelled slamming the door on the blonde's face. TCH, all this just because I copied a technique or two. Women, just impossible to understand, Naruto said as he marched, pillow under his arm, towards the couch while ignoring the confused screams of people outside not understanding the technically impossible dawn that had happened. Okay, I'll fix that, you drama queens, the former demon lord said drawing a moon on the sky making night return, unfortunately making people scream harder in shock. Whatever, one just can't make everyone happy, he muttered shrugging before turning to the side and falling fast asleep. Shinobu Aburame, heiress to the bug-using clan was at the moment looking at the board in front of her as her foe moved a piece to remove one of hers with a knowing smirk on his face. It's surprising, she calmly stated as she made her own move. What? The fact that I know how to play shogi, the fact that I am actually decent at it, or the fact that I can sit still for more than 5 minutes without exploding from too much energy? Naruto, human face of the ancient demon lord Ninetales, answered chuckling. All of the above actually, the girl replied nodding. One would think that a boy with endless stamina would have an easy time wooing girls, but only the older ones actually caught the benefits of it. The only thing stopping them is my age, but in 3 years I'll be 16 and considered legal, so they're just biding their time, he answered amused. This is hardly something to say out loud, Shinobu muttered with her face gaining the faintest of pink shades. This because you didn't see the mark on their calendars with the word, finally, under it. They do have that mark down? The heiress asked taken aback. Saw that myself. The women doing it are more than what you may think, and people you would never suspect of being into shota boyfriend, boy toy, fetish and similar either. What, are we into the jealous phase already? Naruto asked grinning. No, taking even too long to answer. Shinobu focused hard on the game, almost slamming the pieces down when she moved them and making the boy with her chuckle amused. Not far away Shinobu's father Shibi was looking at the scene with as much discretion as he could, sighing to himself from time to time but never moving his eyes away. Is something bothering you, husband? The man's wife asked. The only thing bothering me is the fact that my daughter is already seeing boys and even has a boyfriend. It's a sure mark that time is inexorably passing and I am not getting younger. Shibi answered sighing again. I did notice a worrying increase of gray hair on your head as of late, she answered. Please do not joke, it's a sour matter for me, the man replied looking down with sagged shoulders. Come, I'll take out the furry handcuffs and the riding crop so you'll feel better, the woman said grabbing Shibi's hand to drag him away. Just like during our honeymoon. Yes, dear, he answered with a tiny smile as he went dragged away by the subtly giggling woman. Shinobu simply groaned in answer. The bad side of having good senses, Naruto said chuckling. Stop. I am surprised. Lots of couples stop enjoying sex that much after years are having children, he said amused. Stop it, I beg you, the girl said grimacing harder. But it is nice to see someone still so eager to have fun and experiment. I wonder who of the two will wear those handcuffs though, Naruto said to himself. No. No more images. I beg you. Mercy. Shinobu pleaded shivering in disgust making her boyfriend smirk even wider. Day of the finals. Competitors booth. Room. Make room. Coming through. A cheerful voice asked as a very pale girl with long pure white hair joined the competitors before she not so gently grabbed the back of Kiba's jacket to lift him and take his place near Shinobu. "And you are?" the heiress asked with a raised eyebrow. "Amaterasu. His girlfriend," she said while pointing at Naruto as he walked inside the arena to fight Temari. "I think you made a mistake, I happen to be the one he is dating," the Aburame girl answered sounding almost bitter. "Oh, I know, he told me that himself. Right after plowing me all night like a cheap prostitute," the other answered casually, making the ones sitting around them splutter. "You are lying," Shinobu said with narrowed eyes. Am I really?" Amaterasu answered. "Why are you doing this? Is this all a matter of jealousy?" Shinobu asked. "Jealousy? For the dead last?" Kiba added in disbelief. "Shush," both girls said sharply. "Sorry. No, I am not doing this because jealous, on the contrary actually," the sun goddess answered smirking. "I don't think I understand," Shinobu said shaking her head. "I am a curious girl, that's all. Curious. By curious, Shinobu Aburame." Amaterasu answered grabbing the girl's head to give her a tonsil cleaning kiss. "This means that you belong to the two of us, is this acceptable, bug girl?" the goddess asked with a wide smile. "I'll have to consider this before any commitment," the Aburame heiress answered weakly. "Nice to see you open to the idea, down in the arena." "Can you please pay attention to our fight?" Temari asked annoyed. "SSSH. I am watching two girls I know swapping spit, fight by yourself," Naruto answered waving her off. "Pervert," she answered unfolding her fan fully. "Kamaitachi," the Suna girl bellowed launching a colossal tornado towards the boy. "Sigh. Spoilsport." "Galestorm," he answered annoyed as his own wind attack battled with hers before both went dispelled. "I am a wind mistress, pretty boy. You can't defeat me," Temari said smugly. "Blah. Blah. Blah. Boring," he said tapping the air in front of him. "What's that supposed to do, Kaya?" the wind mistress asked as an adult tree momentarily sprung under her feet at Mach 3 speed launching her up in the air like a shrieking bullet while the plant simply dissolved back into ink. "Magic fingers. I thought you knew," Naruto answered as he jumped forward to grab the still flying girl around her waist to slam her head first on the ground in a pile driver. "Gua." She gurgled out in pain. "Not done yet, sweetie," Naruto said smirking as a long chain of 6 clones came into being behind him. "Now. Fly," he said grabbing the ankle of the first clone while he and the other bunchins each grabbed the legs of the clone in front of them with the last one grabbing Temari's arms. With a loud scream the original Naruto pulled on the bunchin chain lifting it with the screaming Temari on the other end as the girl went slammed down once again. "Get up, Missy. We have not done yet," he asked clapping his hands. "PTU. Then I am going to break you," the Suna girl answered snarling, spitting a blob of red before spinning rapidly on herself launching an hail of spherical wind bullets from her fan. "Power slash." The other answered with a wide swipe that managed to cut the bullets in two along digging a deep gush in the opposite wall in the audience's booth forcing several people to dive to the side to not get cut in two like their seats, miraculously not killing everyone. "Sorry," the blonde boy said sheepishly. "There is no need, Naruto-kun. If they couldn't dodge that little thing then they didn't deserve to live and be ninjas." Hiruzen answered with a grandfatherly smile making the cages near him cringe, masked Orochimaru comprised. Hem. There are people watching," Anir Anbu said clearing his throat. Oh, yes, kid-friendly Hiruzen. Right, cough, and now, Naruto. Pay attention next time. You risked killing innocent bystanders with that very clear attack everyone competent enough could have dodged. It is a bad thing to do. Bad boy. Bad boy. The third Hokage said with a forced scolding tone and a not-so-discreet wink that made Naruto smirk. "Sorry, Gigi," the young man answered chuckling. "I give up, it's useless." The same Anbu muttered in defeat. "Back to the fight. You and your Hokage are crazy." Temari growled as she folded her fan and charged at Naruto with the clear intent on using the thing as an iron club. "No, we are just part of the very small group of people that accepted and openly admit that a ninja is simply a cold-hearted bastard that can't get it up unless after exterminating a dozen enemy ninjas in a glorious reign of gore and outrageously exaggerated violence." Naruto answered as he ducked under the angry wide swipe of the girl to grab her wrists, turn on himself and use her momentum to haul her over his back to slam her a third time on the floor. All while gleefully ignoring Junin's and Anbu's cry of, "Amen, brother." coming from every delegation of the other ninja villages in there. Gah! She cried out in pain as his fan went sent flying away from her, gasped by the new atrocious wave of pain climbing her spine. I think I'll get a page from a popular book series written by a Sonin in order to deal with a strong-willed girl like you. The reborn demon lord said with a predatory smile as he kept her pinned down with a couple of the remaining clones from the chain. Oh, yeah? And what will you do? Spank me until I admit defeat? Temari answered, sneering. Kukakuku. In answer, Naruto's smile simply grew larger and with double the fangs in it. No. Don't you dare. Me dare SSSO very much, he answered. Why am I afraid? You have not the balls to do that after all, Temari answered, steeling herself. Zeep. Okay. You got them. You got balls and everything else all right, the Suna girl said with wide eyes of awe as he zipped his pants back up. Okay then. Come on boys, in position, Naruto said as he clapped his hands, making several clones burst out from underground to grab her. From where do those clones come from? You are not doing hand seals? Temari asked with a shrilly voice. I can summon bombs, trees and cut things just by moving my hands, and you get worried about hand seals? Bend her, guys, the real Naruto answered. Hi. The clones answered as one. No, don't bend her, Temari howled with a very red face as she was forced to lie on his knees with her arms and legs blocked as he sat on another Bunshin's back. There is an easy way out of this, Tima-chan, he proposed. An easy way? She said, uncertain. You just have to forfeit, he answered. Never. Just swallow your pride and forfeit, and I won't humiliate you in front of everybody. He answered with a warm, sensual voice that had the girls watching wonder why he never tried talking like that to them. Never, Temari answered defiantly. Come on, swallow your pride, it's easy, just take a deep gulp and everything will be fine, he said, tenderly caressing her head. Aye. She tried saying before yelping as her skirt went forced up to show her panties-clad bottom to the whole arena. I said swallow it, you bitch, the demon lord ordered as his hand moved sharply down as to give the first spank. I forfeit. I give up, I lose, you win, satisfied? Temari howled, stopping his hand at a mere millimeter from her flesh. Proctor. The blonde genin asked, winking. I don't know, she doesn't sound convinced to me, the grinning man answered. You bastard. The girl screamed in answer. Sasuke? Naruto asked. Spank her. Sounds like a lovely thing to do, the Uchiha boy answered after a short pause of thought. Oh, you limp-dicked. Sakura? Hokage-sama? Naruto asked with an highly amused tone. Do it? She mocked my fabulous pink hair, Sakura answered with a vindictive smile. Let her go, Naruto. She admitted defeat, and we have a tight schedule, Hiruzen added. Oh, fine. The blonde boy said, huffing as he unceremoniously dropped Temari on the ground. Winner of the fight, Hayate said, lifting Naruto's arm to the sky. A village of crazy bastards. All of them, a bunch of assholes, Temari growled under her breath as she hastily adjusted her clothes before recovering her fan and flee the scene. You'll die a virgin with that attitude. Or end up married with Shikamaru, he would be too lazy to oppose you. Hoi. The Nara boy answered, offended, growing even more sour at Temari's dry heaving at the blonde's words. I am not that bad, right? Drop it, Shika. It's useless. Choji answered, patting his back. I'll show you all. I'll run a marathon around the elemental countries and win, the boy said, grumbling. Yes, yes. Everything you say, Ino answered, smiling condescendingly. With Shinobu and Naruto. So? Got tired of men already and decided to switch to girls? Am I that bad? The blonde asked in mock hurt. I am bi-curious and you know it. I just tried to have dear Shinobu become one herself, Amaterasu answered. Can I be invited to the threesome? He asked, hopeful. It's still too soon for us to do that sort of things, the Aburame girl answered, shivering. That didn't sound like a no to me, Naruto said happily. Just not yet, the sun goddess added. Can we have a threesome instead? I don't think it is too soon. Just to help us grow closer as a team, of course, Sakura said nonchalantly. Keep your panties on until the exams are over. The no snoo rule is in effect, as I won't waste energies in other things before this whole damn thing is over, Sasuke answered, huffing. Not even in hand job? You two eating me out? The pink-haired girl asked, whining. Not even that. Are you gay, Teme? No one refuses in hand job, Naruto said, shocked. Okay. Maybe we can do that later, Sakura. The Uchiha boy answered, blushing. Can you please stop? Kiba is already in handful normally and now he is humping my leg because of you. It's frustrating. Hinata said, growling while hitting her teammate on his head with a rolled-up newspaper as said Inuzuka Air was mercilessly humping her leg while panting. Sorry, Hinata. The members of Team 7, Amaterasu and Shinobu chorused as one in answer. Who's next? Ino asked, curious. My turn, Shinobu said as he moved to walk down to the arena. Win and I'll give you my mind-blowing swirl of doom, Naruto said smugly. What is that? The Aburame girl asked, curious after seeing the violent shiver Amaterasu gave at hearing that name. I will eat you out with this tongue, he answered, unfolding a demonic-enhanced tongue thrice the normal length and wrapping it around the metallic railing of the competitor's booth and bending it into a knot. I am going. The flustered girl replied, hurrying away with her sunglasses gaining cracks by themselves. See, Ino pig? I got the best teammates, Sakura said smugly while grabbing both boys' arms under hers. Can you at least use your body expansion down there? The Yamanaka girl asked, whining. Forbidden. Choji answered, shaking his head wildly. Why? My uncle tried it when he was younger, his pingas exploded into 1,000 pieces barely a minute later. Not every part of the body can singularly turn huge, too risky, the chubby boy answered, shivering in horror. Shika. Don't even try to go there, the cage main can't be used for bondage, so you people should stop wondering about that use of my clan's jutsu. Shikamaru answered, shaking his head. You win this round, forehead, Ino admitted, huffing annoyed. Guys? Asuma tried saying, nearing the group. You don't seem convinced of my superiority though, Ino pig, Sakura answered. Oh, for fuck's sake. We are the village that produced the author of Icha Icha, that has the T&I specialist Special Junin that has the world record for greatest number of restraining orders and sexual harassment charges put against her. A masked Junin women fawn on just to see under his mask and a dozen more perverts roaming our streets, and you two are the only ones I can easily use that have nothing to offer like that, Ino said angrily. Guys. Asuma tried saying again while gaining some sparkling new tick marks on his forehead. Well, Missy will have to sweat through it like we normal mortals do then. If I have troubles finding a girl because my clan needs me to be chubby, then you two will have to work to get laid, Choji answered, snarling. I tried to be a shy cutie and attracted only old men. I thought that boys would love to corrupt me. But apparently they want them as bossy as you are, so I can't see where is the problem for you, Hinata added, growling. I am not bossy, Ino answered, shrieking. But you act just like that all the same, Sasuke answered calmly. That's true, the Tami's right, Naruto added. Too much pushy, I wouldn't touch that, Amaterasu said. See? Even a lesbian evades me. There must be something wrong in this world then? Someone as sexy as me can't be ignored so easily, Ino answered in disbelief. I am bi-curious, it's different, the sun goddess pointed out. It's the same, the Yamanaka girl replied, huffing. Sage dammit, guys, Asuma roared, stopping the discussion abruptly. What? The assembled genin asked, annoyed. We're getting invaded. Go fight the enemy, now. The chain-smoking Junin bellowed with foaming mouth while kicking the kids towards the enemy. But, I still have to fight Gaara, Sasuke said, whining. We have a 5,000 words limit in this story's chapters and we won't drag the Chunin exams too much as they are annoying to write, so suck it up and move your ass to the next scene. Asuma answered, kicking Sasuke's ass again towards a group of sound ninjas. I am going, the Uchiha boy answered, annoyed. Meanwhile, with Gaara and his siblings, outside Konoha. So I have to transform, Gaara said. Yes, Konkaru answered, groaning. And I have to wreck the shit out of Konoha, the Jinchuriki added. Yes, go crazy and destroy everything you see, Tamari answered, annoyed. And you people won't get mad? You won't whine about it? Gaara asked slowly. Yes. Why are you asking? The puppet user yelled, anger from his little brother's indecisiveness eclipsing his normal fear of raising his voice against the unstable Biju vessel. Because when I usually transform, you people get mad and shot me those mean disapproved looks that make me feel uncomfortable, like with every other man I killed. Gaara answered, whispering and looking away. You killed those people because they were looking at you in disapproval, and you felt uncomfortable? Tamari asked, shocked. You can't understand, they were making me feel bad about myself, so I overreacted trying to make them stop, he replied, looking down. You killed 300 people. You have 300 victims on your conscience just for that? Kankuro yelled in disbelief. 301. Gaara corrected, looking away. Who's the last one? I don't remember being more than that, Tamari said, taken aback. Kankuru's pet. You killed Mr. Fluffy Puffy Whiskers? Dad told me he ran away. The puppet user screeched with wide eyes. That thing had bitten my finger, and I overreacted, Gaara muttered in answer. Sigh. Just transform, Gaara, Tamari said with a sigh of defeat. No. We are resolving this now. You killed my pet rabbit, Kankuro answered, indignant. Screw that ball of fleas. It had a stupid name anyway. Now go on with the mission, Tamari answered, glaring her brothers into silence. Okay. Playing possum, Gaara said, amassing sand around himself to form the giant body of the one-tailed tanuki Shukaku with the young boy's body sprouting from its forehead. Booyah. I am here, baby. Who's ready for some ass whooping? I am offering. The sand construct bellowed with a slur as soon as the Biju's mind took it over. Konoha is off limits, dumbass, Naruto said as he joined the scene, followed by Amaterasu and several other genin. You think you can stop us? How? Tamari asked, grinning. By kicking your ass. I'll take Gaara if you don't mind, guys, the blonde boy said, smirking. I am helping you, Amaterasu said, nodding. I will help as well, Shinobu added. Fine. I'll fight the one with the puppet then, Sasuke said, pointing at Kankuro. Yosh. I shall defeat him before you, Sasuke-san. I'll use this enemy to show everybody how hard work triumph over everything, Rock Lee added with a thumbs up. If you really have to, Sasuke answered, unsure. I'll take the chick then. You just have to spank her, right? It's her weak spot, Kiba said, grinning. I am gonna murder the shit out of You, Tamari bellowed in fury as she charged the Inuzuka boy, making his shriek and jump down the tree he was on to dodge her attack. Troublesome. I am going to help Kiba before he angers her enough to really kill him. I will be back soon, Shikamaru said, sighing. I'll go to help Sasuke instead, Sakura said in determination. Everyone in there, Shukaku comprised, just looked at her with a raised eyebrow. Screw you, guys, I am not useless, the girl answered, huffing. Whatever, let's just fight, Shukaku said, shrugging before the various groups broke out to fight. I hate you all, Sakura muttered, growling. With Naruto and Amaterasu, got any tricks under your belt, mother of the gods? The reincarnated Ninetales asked, smirking. Now that I am back into being all-powerful. Yes I have. The girl replied as her body turned into a giant replica of her wolf form, completed with red lines but Shukaku-sized in height. Beat this, bug girl, Amaterasu said smugly to the girl perched on her head. This means nothing. It doesn't make you any better than me, Shinobu answered, nonplussed. Me too. Naruto answered as he too turned into his old Ninetales form, shocking the ones watching that had already troubles understanding from where the white wolf near him had come from. The fun part is that they won't be able to connect the wolf to me if I don't let their mind do the connection, Amaterasu said. How? Shinobu asked. We'll explain later, provided you promise to keep the secret, Naruto answered. I'll hear what you have to say, but it will have to be convincing, the Aburame girl said. Kurama. What happened to you? You got masks on your tails, Shukaku said, amused. You dare mock Demon Lord, Ninetales? Then suffer, power slash? The transformed blonde yelled, moving one of his tails in a straight line, cutting the Tanuki Biju in half. My turn. Cherry bomb, Amaterasu yelled as half-dozen bombs appeared around the downed Shukaku. Mommy. Meanwhile, with Hiruzen, inside a tall purple barrier. Kratakabom. A furious explosion shocked the whole village, making pretty much everyone turn towards the source of the deafening sound to look at the battle between giants. What happened to the Kyuubi? Wasn't it supposed to be rust red? And what about the masks? Orochimaru asked, curious. Don't be a nitpicker and fight, Orochi-kun. It's not every day that I am enclosed in a tight space having a battle to the death, and I want to savor it to the very last minute, Hiruzen said, annoyed, while summoning the monkey boss Enma in his adamantine staff form. And fight you alone by myself? I am a crazy bastard, not an idiot. Edo Tensei. Impure World Resurrection. The snake Sonin answered, summoning 3 coffins in front of himself so that the first, second and fourth Hokage could once again walk the earth and fight. So we have been summoned? Tobirama asked, curious once his eyes regained focus. Yes, it seems that WUUUH, giant monster fight, Minato answered before going starry-eyed. Where? Where? An equally excited Hashirama yelled before both moved in a corner of the barrier to watch both Ninetales and Amaterasu pounce on Shukaku. Go! 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 Use the pile driver! Woo! Minato yelled at the nine-tailed demon lord and cheering when he grabbed the sand-made tanuki to perform said awesome move. Wham! Yeah! Both first and fourth Hokage howled in amazement. I can fight Hiruzen if you want, I am not interested in that monster showdown. Tobirama offered while awkwardly patting on the back of the depressed Orochimaru crying on his shoulder. Why? Why? Why did I lose to him when they looked for a candidate for the fourth Hokage position? Why? The snake Sonin bellowed between hiccups. That's my son. That's my boy suplexing a biju, said blonde Hokage answered proudly. This must be the most incredible fight ever. Whoever is missing this won't find another example of badassery anywhere anymore. Hashirama answered. Yep. If you miss this fight between bijus you just have to blame yourself for not witnessing it. Your life will be meaningless and empty if you don't watch it. Back to Hiruzen and Orochimaru's less awesome fight. Kaden. Massive dragon fire projectile. Hiruzen yelled while inhaling and making his chest puff out in an inhuman way as his lungs collected more air than physically possible. Two can play this game. The snake Sonin answered going through the same hand seals with barely a tenth of a second of difference. Focusing chakra to their own feet so to not be blasted back by the voluntarily overcharged technique, both men blew out a massive stream of fire scorching the terrain and turning the whole area in an inferno of heat before both jutsus collided midway in a pillar of flames soon smothered by the now jutsu-controlled Tobirama and his storm of water-made sharks. Sweden. Daikoden no Jutsu, water release, great shark bullet technique, the second Hokage then followed by thrusting both hands forward and launching a giant shark of water towards the third. Old you may be, sensei. But even a fool can see that you still know how to hold your own in battle, but will you last? Or will you fall by my hands? Orochimaru said sneering smugly as he himself this time charged Hiruzen. Contrary to you, Orochi-kun, I welcomed my advancing age as a mere bargain for the experience I gained in my long life. To this day even death does not scare me. The third answered proudly and deflecting the man's punch and then answering by kneeling the Sonin's chin once forced him to lose balance and stumble forward. Hiruzen. Tobirama yelled as he fell between the two trying to hit the old man with the back of his heel and opening a crater between the two once missed the old man's skull of an inch. Not afraid of death? Then let's test this claim of yours. Ugi? Secret technique, sacrificial wall of snakes. Orochimaru replied unhinging his jaw to open his mouth as wide as he could and, puking, in front of him a huge mass of snakes that rapidly piled up to form an hissing wall. What are you? Sweden Ugi. Tobirama yelled from behind the third Hokage just as the snakes forming the wall showed the blades sticking out of their mouths. Oh, was all Hiruzen could mutter in answer as the second Hokage took in a huge breath. Shigen no Takikoden, water release secret technique, nativity of the primordial waterfall. The resurrected Hokage said as enough water to fill a lake went shot towards the old man with bone-breaking pressurized force. The upside of using Edo Tensei, I can force him to use a suicide technique, sensei. But he is already dead so this won't matter. Orochimaru yelled in glee above the roaring of the water. Damn it. Hiruzen cursed as even digging his staff deep on the floor to hold onto it was showing to be useless as the force of the water current was still pushing him against the wall of snakes. Tobirama sensei is converging every ounce of his chakra into water. It's an endless flood. The third thought in alarm as his staff finally gave in getting unstuck making him tumble towards Orochimaru. What now, sensei? The Sonin asked mockingly, don't take me for dead yet. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. Great fireball technique. The third yelled before launching a huge fireball out of his mouth towards the wall of snakes. That won't take it down, Hiruzen. It's over, Orochimaru answered laughing. Who said I was trying to take down the wall? The third Hokage replied smirking just as the fireball impacted with the wall in a powerful explosion that obscured everything with the resulting smoke and actually pushed back the water for an instant. Kage Bunshin. The old man then said creating a clone outside the stream of water so to switch with it. My, nice way to get out of that situation, sensei. The snake Sonin said smirking as both wall and water jutsu went dispelled. This is not over. I am going to. Incoming. Shukaku shrieked in fear as his body came falling down on top of the lone, isolated construction both Sonin and Hokage had chosen for their fight. Falling Biju. The sound 4 keeping the barrier up yelled as one before scattering, making the purple walls drop. My horoscope told me this would have happened, Orochimaru muttered in dismay. Flashback. That exact morning it was breakfast time and the snake Sonin had just finished drinking his coffee when his eye got caught by the horoscope page on Konoha's newspaper. I wonder what it'll say about my sign. For the ones born under this sign I give a warning. Pay attention to what happens around you. Abandon all your plans for the day and stay at home or a tailed beast will fall on your head, peeved. Bunch of bullshit. Orochimaru said, smirking before throwing away the newspaper. End of the flashback. Present day Kaboom. With a thunderous sound and an earthquake like aftershock, several thousands of tons of sand demolished the tall construction and buried whoever was too close to ground zero. Sorry, Gigi. Naruto, now back into being human, said sheepishly as he neared the half-buried old man just as he managed to dig his way out of Shukaku's body remains. Pfeh, I got sand in my mouth, and in my pants too. Hiruzen answered, annoyed as he pulled out a confused Gaara that had awoke thanks to the fall. What happened? The Suna Jinchuriki asked, confused. We threw you away with too much emphasis, sorry. Amaterasu answered with a sincere sad expression. Hokage-sama. We saw Orochimaru limp his way outside Konoha but couldn't stop him, Anir Anbu said, ashamed. Why? Well, we only saw him once he passed the gate. We were distracted by the giant monster fight. The captain answered with a small voice. Then chase him. For the love of God, what do you have those masks for? You are supposed to be elite. Hiruzen barked in answer. Why yes sir. The assembled men answered, scampering away to follow their orders. Bunch of masked noobs. And you? The third muttered before glaring at Gaara. If I say that I am sorry, can I go home? My dad the Kazekage is dead, so we have no one forcing us to invade Konoha, the young man answered. Yes, but I want you all to write 100 times, I won't attack my allies because only a dick does that, and then send us an honest, long letter of apology, Hiruzen answered. It's acceptable. The Jinchuriki answered, once seen several Suna shinobi nod emphatically in acceptance. Good. Pull this shit again and it will be the corner, for all of you, the old man added with narrowed eyes. We'll be good, Hokage-sama, the whole Suna contingent answered as one before marching away with their heads held low. Now go to your village, I am ashamed of you. Well, it seems like we managed to wrap things up quite nicely, Naruto said, smirking. Fighting a Biju has been a great source of experience, Shinobu admitted, nodding. I have to admit it, Bug Girl. You can hold your own in a fight, Amaterasu said with a proud smile while patting the other girl's shoulder. I was most worried when he swallowed me, but then, well, you know the rest. The Aburame girl replied, nodding. Yep. That was awesome. Celebratory fuck? The reincarnated Ninetales asked, grinning. Yeah. The mother of the gods answered, grabbing Shinobu so that the three of them could disappear from the area. Hey. Come back here. We still have all this sand and dead Auto Shinobi to throw away. Damn it. Hiruzen yelled in rage. Whatever. Call the Genin, we got a new D-class mission for them about cleaning up. The Hokage added, groaning. You sure, Hokage-sama? A random Junin asked. It's a boring, tiring and thankless job about throwing away tons of sand and dozens of corpses. We have Genin to do this sort of things. The old man answered, walking away. What about the mental trauma of seeing dead people, Hokage-sama? They are child soldiers. Do the math. Quote. Right. Stupid question. Later that day. Naruto's apartment. So you are a goddess? Shinobu asked while drinking her tea. Yes, but I won't stay around too much. Today was an exception as I wanted to see how Ninetales here acted with other people in person. He will be all yours most of the time. I will just pay a visit once or twice whenever I have some free time. Amaterasu answered. How about you? Afraid of having a retired demon lord as a boyfriend? Naruto asked, amused. Not afraid, curious more likely. I would like to hear about what happened the first time you two met. The Aburame girl answered honestly. Wanna become an half-demon? Why would I? What are the benefits? She asked back. Way longer lifespan, greater power and other perks, the blonde man answered. Perks? He talks about mating. Amaterasu explained, huffing. Wanna see a nine-tailed fox make a female wolf howl? He said, waggling his eyebrows. It was a one-time deal. It 0 trillion won't happen again. The mother of the gods replied snarling. Liar. You loved it, Naruto said smirking. I do not. Do not, I said no, Amaterasu shrieked. And I said yes, Ninetales replied as he pounced on her with a feral growl. I happen to be still here, Shinobu said as the two youngsters turned into a male fox and a female wolf to roll on the floor in their fighting. Ooh. Fighting soon turning into something else with the goddess letting out a long, guttural moan as soon as he got behind her. Oh. The Aburame girl muttered with raised eyebrows as the hungry round of furry debauchery happened in front of her. It was like a train wreck, she simply could not look away from the carnal display of lust or the tangling of furry limbs, loud flesh slapping on flesh and dangling tongues in bits while groans, panting, growls and moans filled the room in front of her unblinking eyes while. It's fascinating. Scarring and nightmares inducing. But fascinating. The girl muttered before finally falling silent to just watch the rapid-fire thrusting of her boyfriend animal form inside her apparent rival friend something wolf form. Just you wait until we are old enough as humans, then it will be your turn as well, the reincarnated Ninetales said smirking as he created a clone behind Amaterasu to add another fox to the fun. For some reason Shinobu couldn't help but almost translate it as a threat. Shibi Aburame, clan head of the Aburame clan, was at the moment deep in thought as he sat at the kitchen table with his beloved daughter Shinobu with both father and daughter calmly waiting for their tea to reach the perfect temperature of their liking. Something is troubling you, daughter, Shibi finally said with a contemplative humming introducing his words. Indeed it is, father, Shinobu answered shortly after. It is because of that girl with the preposterous name of an ancient goddess going around professing her being the second. Since an Aburame never comes second, girlfriend of your beloved? He asked. Partly, father, Shinobu said while looking intensely at her cup of tea. I see. It does remember me of a similar situation when I firstly started dating your mother, I too had a rival for her attention. And what happened then, if I can ask? He gently stepped back, conscious that me and your mother were fated to be together. Shibi answered. Flashback. Several years ago. Shibi Aburame, age 20 streets of Konoha, night. I don't think this is a good idea, Shibi. Inoichi Yamanaka said looking around in apprehension. I reckon this to be the definitive solution to my issues instead. Now pass me a new lockpick, Hiyashi. Young Shibi answered nonplussed as he kept fiddling with the back door of his rival house. Here. Saint still. B breaking and entering looks a bit extreme. Hiyashi answered as he kept scanning the dark streets of Konoha with his Byakugan. You really need to work on that nervous stuttering, Hiyashi, Inoichi said shaking his head. I am working on it. I just hope if I'll have children one day that they won't take a fro from me. The Hyuga boy answered. Sigh. This is why I keep telling you that women are too troublesome, they force you to do stupid things. Now hurry up, it's almost 2 a.m., the next round of Uchiha will pass by here soon. Shikaku Nara grumbled with a half sigh, half yawn as he moved Shibi aside to open the lock himself in a matter of seconds. Sho? Inoichi whispered. Road's clear, Inoichi. Go ahead, Chojuro answered with a thumbs up. Good. Here is the plan. We enter, dress him up in the Princess Celestia onesie pajama, add the teddy bears and Barbie dolls and put his thumb in his mouth once simulated his wetting the bed. Then we take pictures and enough writing samples to fake few mean diary entries and return everything to normal before leaving. Understood? Shibi instructed as the small group stealthy entered the house. Wouldn't be better if we just kill him? He would suffer less, Inoichi asked shaking his head. No, he must suffer, Shibi countered with furrowed eyebrows. Okay, the others parroted rolling their eyes. This is a mission of love. She is worth the effort. Shibi muttered to himself as they finally reached the boy's room. End of the flashback. Present day. Yes, he backed down voluntarily, he understood with no prompting that he had no chances. That is why he left Konoha to live as a hermit in the mountains under fake identity. Shibi continued saying once returned from his trip on memory lane. Hoo. Not too far away, the man's wife chuckled amused at the memories while she quietly eavesdropped, especially since the rivalry had all been inside Shibi's head as she had long had a crush on him. And the hidden mean streak inside her found the idea of him going that far in the name of his love for her quite endearing, and hot, very, very hot. Father? Shinobu asked confused. Want me to help you? We can make her understand young Uzumaki is already taken. Shibi offered. She is but a very small part of the problem, father. Then what is the biggest part? The father asked, sounding worried. I finally understood why I could so easily pass for a boy, Shinobu said, patting her plain chest. Crackle. At that faint cracks appeared on Shibi's cup as he clenched it a bit too tight. What do you mean, daughter? Shibi asked with his voice turning way too stiff even for Aburame standards. I have been checking myself in the mirror lately, father, and while my backside appears to be fitting in what is apparently endearing and attractive for boys, as I discovered by spying on Ino-san and Sakura-san gossiping, my chest seems to be awfully underdeveloped. Crackle. Crackle. New cracks, definitely deeper than the previous ones, appeared on Shibi's cup at that. I am afraid I won't develop like the other girls my age, father, and while my boyfriend has more than once openly expressed his finding myself attractive all the same, should one day intimacy come, I have doubts he will be of the same advice once seen my naked body. Crash. At that, Shibi's cup exploded with how hard he clenched his hand around it. Why would he see your naked body? The man asked coldly. My dear, it will happen someday if they intend to get married, Shinobu's mother said, giving the man a new cup while cleaning the wasted tea from the table. Married? Shibi repeated as the new cup too exploded in his hand while his bugs buzzed in answer to his mounting stress levels. Mother? Shinobu asked. My sweet daughter, you are growing up so fast I can barely keep up with it. Have no fear, you clearly took from my side of the family. The women of our family are late bloomers, but we have all hit the D cup once turned 20. So rest assured, you'll have nice breasts to match our legendary backside from which you will be able to bounce a Ryu all you want. The woman said with a reassuring tone and a small smile. Crack. This time it was part of the table to give in as Shibi's hands snapped it in two. D cup, mother? Shinobu asked with a tone of wonder. I will help you prepare your first seal-empowered chest wrapping, like my mother did for me and my grandmother did for her. We are faithful to the extreme, only our beloved can see our true beauty. Thank you, mother, Shinobu said with a tiny smile herself. Has he seen your eyes already? She asked, making Shibi let out an unhealthy choking gasp. Yes, mother. He says they're pretty, Shinobu answered with a faint pink hue dusting her cheeks. Aburame's eyes were peculiar. On the outside they looked normal, but should one watch really close they would see the truth. The whole eye, white part comprised, was in fact compounded like bug eyes are. Millions upon millions of microscopic facets that made easier for the Aburame clan members to control their swarm. And so Shinobu's almond eyes too were. You have particularly developed eyes, daughter. How could he see then that they were in fact compound eyes? The woman asked with a knowing tone. We have been practicing our kissing skills, mother. He is quite the adept and is eager to take it slow so to appease my perfectionist side. And practice do make perfect, or so they said, so we practice as much as we can, the young girl admitted. Oh, I am so happy for you, my dear. Kissing. Without tongue I presume, Shibi said faintly. Daughter? Shibi asked, or more likely begged, again. We do kissing with tongue and groping, father. That is why my concerns started waiting on me no matter how many times he says to find me beautiful the way I am already, Shinobu said with a low voice. He has a lot to offer, and I was afraid I could not return the favor plenty with my backside only, no matter how apparently he already finds it appealing. Gah. Thud. Please ignore your father, Shinobu. Men unfortunately do cling to their more childish side in a very painful way. I am sure you will come around your being old enough to start notice boys very soon. Now go. You still have your studies and training regimen to finish. Yes, mother. Shinobu answered, nodding obediently, and once given their parents a bow, she moved towards the door leading outside. A last thing. Yes, mother. I hope he does give back just as much as you give him. Yesterday you had a very telling white smudge on your lips. You were lucky your father didn't see you lick it away, the woman said with her smile turning more predatory as she watched her daughter freeze abruptly. He does, mother. He does. The gods gave him that long tongue for a very devious reason, and he understood what it was perfectly. Shivering violently at the memories, Shinobu hurried outside before her face could get too red to be comfortable. Just remember to wait a couple more years before going beyond that. I happen to be too young to be a grandmother, but feel free to probe around and taste all you want. The woman yelled, amused, making Shinobu almost trip in her haste to leave as fast as she could without giving a spectacle. Youngsters these days. No control whatsoever. The poor woman said, sighing as she closed the furry handcuffs around Shibi's wrists to carry him on her shoulder. Now, to deal with you. The riding crop waits for nobody, she then said, carrying the unconscious Shibi to their bedroom. He will wake up soon, and after what she heard, she was in the mood. Meanwhile, with Naruto, Kurama clan household. So your grandfather says, heroes, last time I fought one he tasted amazing. But my hips are not the ones of that time anymore, so cut the chase and jump in my mouth. All this while talking to a tree because without his glasses he mistook it for the guy. Naruto, reincarnation of the demon lord Ninetales, said laughing uproariously. Ooh, for the love of Naraka's blood lakes. Please tell me you are the only one that knows this. A monstrous entity with giant horns, long fangs and long brown hair moaned in disbelief while face-palming with both hands. At that the blond boy looked away while passing a hand on the back of his neck in discomfort. Everybody knows that story already, isn't it? Ito asked with a sobbing tone. I am sorry, Ito-kun. Naruto confirmed looking uneasy. From the sidelines, Kurenai cleared her throat uncertain. Yes. Naruto asked. How do you know those things? She asked. It's a secret between me and Kyubi, he answered, waving her off with one hand like an annoying fly. I see. Kurenai answered. In truth, she didn't get what was happening in the slightest. She had been called in great hurry to the Kurama clan's house where the very few remaining members that had not been killed by Ito's first coming had decided to kill her former student Yakumo, Ito's vessel, in revenge for their fallen clansmen and the almost destruction of their clan. It all went to hell in a matter of seconds, of course, when the girl's uncle unleashed Ito by accident while strangling the girl, having decided to enjoy the sick pleasure of feeling her life fade from right under his hands. At a step from dying, the seals holding Ito back came undone, giving the entity full power over Yakumo and her bloodline ability. That went especially bad because the girl's uncle then started slaughtering his helpers himself while under the creature's illusions before snapping his own neck. That was when Kurenai arrived, just in time to see the man behead his last helper before moving his head in a horrifying 360 that killed him instantly. Kurenai tried reasoning with Ito, but apparently Yakumo was still not happy about the woman sealing away her powers, denying her dreams of being a kunoichi and her destroying every chance to fulfill her ambitions to become a genjutsu mistress like Kurenai, her former heroine, was. So maybe in hindsight Kurenai could understand the animosity towards her person. The battle didn't go to Kurenai's favor either, as she had soon found herself bound in one of Yakumo's paintings-based illusions and was slowly being erased alive. A very unpleasant feeling, she could testify, when the village Jinchuriki calmly walked in, right in the middle of the deranged dimension of badly mixed and melding paint Ito had transformed the house living room into. All this with an expression of deep fondness, like somebody reminiscing of happier times of ages ago, plastered on the blonde's face. And now both were talking like friends while sitting at the same table and completely ignoring the trapped Junin right next to them. Things have changed a lot through the years, isn't it? Naruto asked, sighing. What can I say, Ninetales-sama? Hell itself has been a mess ever since Yami went destroyed. Now everybody pretty much does whatever they want and everybody tries to not have things implode, but without a proper chain of command this is not easy. Ito answered, shaking his head in sadness. So that is why many of you escaped? Naruto asked. Ito is not a demon, he is the manifestation of Yakumo's ID side, her inner darkness, Kurenai tried saying. He is an ID demon. They latch to the ID side of human brains to feed on their inner darkness, as you call it, like a leech. Only feeding on dark emotions instead of blood. The blonde boy answered. And I like it here, Ito added. And he likes it here, the young boy finished saying, smirking. And by the way, those people were really nasty. You have no idea how many advances Yakumo's uncle tried making. She is very gifted, so having her bear children with pure blood could have created a new very strong generation of ninja for the Kurama clan. Ito said with a scrunched nose. And they call us demons. At least we do not stick our dicks in blood relatives. That would be awkward. Naruto confirmed. Very. Listen. Poor Yakumo is really gifted, very gentle too, and is a nice piece of work. This is all me. But her real self is very nice to look at. Pretty even, by human standards. What are you trying to do, Ito, son of Itamaru? Naruto asked with narrowed eyes. You are still the great Lord Ninetales. Reincarnation or not, your powers are still great, and every day they grow more to return to all their former glory. Get to the point and take your head out of my ass, the blonde hissed. Can't blame a lesser demon for trying some brown nosing to survive. Yakumo is a poor thing, and should she die I will be forced to return to hell if I don't find another suitable ID to leech on. She needs a strong mate, otherwise her gift will go to waste. She is just too weak and needs somebody strong protecting her. I need somebody strong to hide behind if the worst happen. Ito said, unsure while rubbing his hands nervously. I happen to be in a relationship already, Naruto said while sipping his tea and nailing Ito with a cold glare. My girl here is too nice to be a bother. I am sure she won't bother your woman, Ninetales-sama. I mean, you look at her and feel the need of protecting her from the world. I too fell for it even if I am demon. Give her a chance. I just eradicated her last family in my bout of self-defense. She is all alone, Ito said. People would have trouble with her going around, Naruto answered. Technically, the Kakaichu bugs of the Aburame clan are immune and cannot fall victim of her illusions. She would just need to live with them, please. She is the only vessel I can latch on. I am too weak to attack another shinobi, and civilians here have not the grief and suppressed dark feelings I need. My girlfriend is an Aburame, the clan heiress to be exact. Ah, that makes things more difficult, Ito said in surprise. Indeed. For now, drop the illusion and free little Yakumo. We will deal with the rest a step at a time, Naruto said, rubbing his eyes in annoyance. And what about? The human will stay put, right? The blonde answered while glaring at Kurenai. If I say yes, you will let me go and stop erasing me? Kurenai asked. Yes. Then okay, I will give her the benefit of the doubt, if Ito stays put and I see no more widespread genjutsu happen until we speak to the Hokage. Fair enough. Just do not trick me, Ito answered, dropping the illusion and making his feature turn into those of a pretty girl with pale skin and long brown hair. Where am I? Yakumo asked. It's a long story, Yakumo-chan, very long, Naruto said, sighing. Who are you? What is happening? Why Kurenai is here? And why I am surrounded in corpses? Yakumo asked with a shrilly scream of horror. I fixed the demon, now you fix the human. Part of this mess is your fault as well, so it's your duty to clean up and tie the loose ends. I am out, Naruto answered, stretching and moving towards the door. But, Kurenai spluttered in shock at being saddled with the whole situation, and deep inside feeling a bit offended by the vitriol Yakumo said her name with. I was just passing by. You are the one that will get paid for fixing this, so do your job, the blonde answered, opening the door. Wait. At least help me wit. Ta-ta. The reincarnated demon cut her off, slamming the door behind himself. Slam, damn it. What is happening? Yakumo yelled again. NNGH. Grumbling in annoyance, the genjutsu specialist pinched the bridge of her nose and took a deep breath to steel her nerves. At the same time, with Naruto, the blonde was calmly walking through the streets of the village when a boy with 4 arms stopped him. Good evening, the boy said. Good evening, what can I do for you? The blonde replied. We are here to kidnap the Uchiha heir. Where can we find him? A kidnapping? Wait a second, Naruto said, looking behind the boy to see other 2 boys, one of which had 2 heads, a bit farther away, that were looking in apprehension at them. Circus in town? Whatever, not my problem, the blonde thought, curious as he created a clone. Go see if Broody can come here for a moment, the original ordered. All right, the Bunshin answered, sprinting away. The small group then stood a little in uncomfortable silence until the former demon lord decided to break the tension by clearing his throat. So, first time kidnapping somebody? He asked. We are more used to do escort detail and bodyguard duty, but we were personally chosen by our boss and we had to accept. One cannot say no to the boss they work for, the Auto Shinobi said, shrugging helpless. In hindsight, Naruto conceded. Do you know any restaurants near here? If we take long, I would like to have lunch first, the more chubby of the 3 asked, raising his hand. Possibly vegan, one of the heads of the 2-headed boy added. Oh, come on, I can't believe you are still going about that bullshit. I want a steak, the other head said, furious. Corpse eater, the first head replied, scandalized. Are they always like that? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. You have no idea. Hey, have you seen a red-haired girl? She was with us, tall like this, nice tits, amazing ass. Swears like a sailor, the 4-armed boy answered. Shove it up your ass, bitch. A new voice was heard as a red-haired girl marched towards them. Clean that mouth, fucker. If you keep spewing shit, people will mistake it for your fat ass. Enko was heard yelling back while Asuma struggled to stop her from pouncing. Here is to Yuya, the chubby boy said, sighing. Nice potty mouth, Naruto said, snorting. Mind your business, son of a big gua. The girl, Yuya, was about to lash out when the demon lord's hand darted inside her mouth to pull out her tongue. My beloved mother is not for you to insult, my dear. Now calm down or you'll have to learn how to swear using sign language. The blonde, showing a perfect gentle smile, said, pulling up her tongue and forcing the girl to stand on her toes. Gueh, plu, fagaha, Tayuya spluttered in answer. Please let her go, the two-headed boy asked, grumbling annoyed. We don't have all day. The other head added, tch. Goo. You son of a bit, slap, 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 slap. As Tayuya tried again, she found herself held under Naruto's right arm while his left hand spanked her mercilessly. Now, young lady, you will talk like a proper human being instead of a walking toilet or you will get more, he then said, returning her to her feet. So, sniff, sniff. Are you crying? The four-armed boy asked, surprised. Sniff. I am not. Tayuya, already with red eyes, answered angrily. Yes you are, Naruto said with a more honest, gentle expression. I am not, she answered stubbornly with big tears still falling from her eyes. You were being naughty. I wasn't, she answered with a childish whine. Sniffle. Sniffle. Sob, come here, come on, the blonde said, opening his arms wide. Ooge. The redhead replied, biting her lips and stubbornly looking away while still hiccuping a little. Come on, little Tayuya-chan. I am not a toddler, she said, hugging Naruto and burying her face on his shoulder. You are not. You are a big, bad kunoichi from another village. Everybody fears you. The blonde replied with a soothing tone while caressing her back. Damn right I am. Tayuya confirmed with closed eyes as she nuzzled her face a tiny bit more deeply in his neck. Am I interrupting something? Sasuke asked, smirking as he, Sakura and Naruto's clone joined the scene. It also looks like something touching, the pink-haired girl added, cooing. Just a little moment between me and Tayuya-chan. Naruto answered, patting the girl's head, making her purr happily in answer. What did you want to ask me, by the way? The Uchiha boy asked. Ah. Yes. These gentlemen are here to kidnap you and wanted to know if today was okay for you. Naruto answered, smirking. They asked if they could kidnap me today. Sasuke, looking extremely surprised, asked back. We weren't supposed to ask, the fat boy said, worried. Did we screw up? The four-armed boy added with his head dropping down in depression. It's their first time doing this, Sasuke. Be gentle, Naruto said with a meaningful look. Sorry, it's just that they usually warn me a week before they come to kidnap me. Can we do this tomorrow? I have an appointment already. Sasuke, catching on rapidly, answered, looking sorry. Tomorrow. I think it is feasible. 8 p.m. is good for you? The two-headed boy asked, unsure. Perfect, thank you. The Uchiha boy answered, grateful. Very well, Tayuya. Let's go, we are going back to our hidden camp. The Auto Shinobi with 4 arms said, grabbing the girl's arm. Okay, she answered, sounding almost sad. Yes? Naruto asked. If you happen to pass by Auto, this is my address, even if you just want to write me. You don't have to, but, if you want, just to stay in touch, or something. The girl muttered, looking down while twirling a strand of her hair with a finger, once rapidly scribbled her name and address on a piece of paper. Oh, I will. Thank you, Tayuya, he answered, smirking. Ahu. She muttered as she and her colleagues calmly walked away. Basically morons, Sasuke said as soon as the 4 disappeared around the corner. 3 morons and a hidden sub that just discovered being so, Sakura said. How can you tell? Naruto asked, curious. Boys, I can recognize the sound of spanking when I hear it. Naruto, it is not so hard for me to imagine what happened. Sakura answered, huffing annoyed. Whatever. We should go tell the Hokage that Orochimaru is trying again to put his hands on you. Naruto answered, shrugging, uninterested. Please word it differently, Dobi. You make it sound dirtier than what it is. Sasuke begged. I think that Sonin likes you, Sakura added, smirking. Come on. The Uchiha heir yelled with a groan. It must be his wonderful eyes. Naruto said, cooing and battling his eyelashes in an exaggerated fashion. Screw you. Guys, Sasuke answered, whining and face palming. So, let's tell the Hokage what happened. I hope he has some plan to deal with this that won't be too much of a bother. Naruto said, yawning, bored. 2 days later, Tanzaku Gai, pub, And so me and the third Hokage opted to send me here to look for you, so to talk you into becoming the next village leader, and this is how we ended up here. Jiraiya said, emptying his dish of sake. I knew I should have took care of Minato's training myself. Tsunade Senju, third member of the Sonin formation and renowned genius medic, said, grumbling, annoyed. Hey, at least I would have been able of teaching him that certain fail-saves are not worthy being added to last resort plans, she said, huffing. I have you know that bar some personality issues, merging of memories and strange unnatural powers, dear Naruto is a kid like every other. The Hokage even alerted the Junin that if Naruto starts showing signs of esoteric knowledge, it is probably just what the Kyuubi knew, slipping through for an instant, a minute, and he returns to normal. Jiraiya replied. And the fact that he has been turned into a Biju human hybrid is apparently normal to you. Tsunade added dryly. Sometimes, normal is just a matter of semantics, her friend answered. What about the other two brats you took along? She asked as the two looked at the table in the far corner not too far away from them, where Naruto and Sakura were teaching Sasuke the basics of poker, soon forcing the clan heir to sign IOU after IOU with clenched teeth as soon as they started playing for real. You suck at gambling, the blonde was heard saying. Shut up. I'll win everything back next round, Sasuke growled in answer. You better start soon, or I will cash on all the dates, romantic dinners and shopping sprees you will pay for, Sakura answered, smirking. Grr. The girl simply tagged along. The broody one has Orochimaru hunting him down, just like Naruto has this strange Akatsuki organization hunting him down for being a Biju. Jiraiya answered, shrugging. So Sarutobi-sensei thought that two Sonin would have been able to defend both, I see. Tsunade answered, sighing. What I don't understand is, the Sharingan can be implanted and the snake bastard can switch bodies easily enough. Why fixating on the boy if he can take every strong body he likes and simply keep implanting those eyes at every change? Yes, it is strange. Wait, Jiraiya, isn't the boy Itachi's little brother? The Slug Queen tried, saying, unsure. Ooh. The spy master finally echoed in realization after a long pause. He is still on about it. It's a deeply rooted issue, you can't pretend him to move on anytime soon. Yeah, but it's messed up and childish. You know Orochimaru has a hard time letting go of grudges. Still. So, what about the reason I am here? Jiraiya finally asked as soon the sake bottle went emptied. Sigh. You know I hate the title of Hokage, and in a small part the village as a whole, she replied, exhaling tiredly. But I have not what it takes to be Hokage, Asuma as well is not ready yet. Guy has refused categorically by admitting his being not Hokage material, and Kakashi almost physically attacked me when I told him he was between the candidates. It's either you or Danzo, and you cannot honestly tell me that the war maniac would be the perfect leader of Konoha. No matter how annoying he is lately with his going on and on about how cool and dashing he would look wearing the Hokage hat. Do not remind me, his crying fit when Sensei became third Hokage has been cringe-worthy as hell to look at, especially when he stole the hat and refused to let it go. Tsunade admitted with a scrunched nose. Yep. At least consider it. Jiraiya pleaded. You two refused. You're telling me to choose when I already have my hands tied. I cannot look at that desk and do not think about Minato, sitting there. Sitting there would be too much pain for me. I understand. She answered, patting his back with a comforting smile. So I will give you an answer as soon as we finish breaking the bones of those bastards behind us. Tsunade said, smiling gently as her hand grabbed the pub's counter they were sitting at to uproot it from the floor in a fluid flurry of motion. Okay. Jiraiya said cheerfully as he leaned back to duck under the wild swing so that the entire counter could violently slam on the chest of the two robed figures behind them and launch them outside the pub. Glad to see you got my memo about Akatsuki, the spy master said, cracking his neck in eagerness. And I am glad they're wearing such recognizable cloaks. Tsunade replied, cracking her knuckles just as the three genin joined them. My kidnappers, or Sasuke's? Naruto asked. Yours? Orochimaru is up there watching. Jiraiya answered, jamming his thumb towards the top of a near house where Orochimaru and Kabuto were standing in wait. Very well, how do we divide the fight? The former demon lord asked, smirking eager. This is no battle for genin, find a good hiding spot and... Ho 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 ho. No, young lady. A demon lord's pride doesn't work like that. The blonde boy answered, cutting Tsunade off by grabbing her arm in an iron grip and drawing two tick lines in front of both herself and him in the air using red ink. To her surprise, time slowed down to a crawl while both Akatsuki members showed themselves being Itachi Uchiha and the infamous Kisame Hoshigaki, making the two almost look like floating in the air with how slow their charge became. Past what to her seemed being few seconds, time returned to flow normally with her and the three genin at a safe distance from the two missing nins, just in time to see Orochimaru too join the fight. What the? That was the Veil of Mist, a trick I copied from an old friend of mine. You see, I cannot run away from those two for a very simple reason. She heard the son of Minato say with very non-human-looking eyes as his body swelled dramatically and got covered in pale fur until he turned gigantic in sizes. If I turn my back to two mortals, it will mean becoming the laughing stock of Naraka, and I, Ninetales, refuse to give mortals such satisfaction. The now fully transformed Ninetales said, roaring as a sword with several protruding spikes at the sides appeared above him to be held by one of his tails in a cracking of lightning. 9 strikes. Oh, you meddling goddess. Why you keep doing your worst to make me angry? Ninetales thought, furious as he knew Amaterasu was watching and having her fun at his expenses. You go play with your friend, I will keep those two gentlemen occupied until you have done. They are here to capture you, they have been probably chosen especially for their abilities, Jiraiya hissed as Orochimaru summoned the giant snake manda at his side. Then I suggest you to hurry up and join me. The Demon Lord answered as he lunged forward to try and swallow both Akatsuki members in a single bite, only for the two to dodge. Take the fight out. We can't destroy this place. Sakura, she and Sasuke riding Ninetales' head, yelled with wide eyes. Why are you even sitting on my head? Sorry, but this is the safest place for me to be at the moment, Sasuke answered nonplussed. Little brother, Itachi said as a manner of greetings. Psycho mass murderer. Have you raped any other brain besides mine lately? The young boy asked. I had my reasons, Sasuke, the other replied. Oh, please, do tell me. You wouldn't understand. But I can be expected to drown in obsessive tendencies about revenge and forget everything else instead. Aren't you being a bit presumptuous? Sasuke said, snorting. Estranged family, Naruto whispered to Kisame. You have no idea, nice sword, the other answered. Thanks, a bit flashy but it gets the job done. Like my Samahata. I understand what you mean. I feel like we are missing the point, Sakura muttered, unsure. This is besides the point, little brother. Oh, yes, the great Itachi cannot explain himself. It is so beneath him. Sasuke yelled dramatically. Spare me the drama, I had a tight schedule, it was either the Tsukuyomi or me beating you blue. Boo! The super-duper mega-ultra prodigy miscalculated the time needed to slaughter his family and friends, it is so tragic. Hey, just admit it, they made fun of those lines on your face and you snapped like a drama queen. These are expression markings and expressions. What expressions? A brick wall is more expressive than you, Itachi. Sasuke answered, scoffing. I won't stand for somebody whose hair looked like a geese backside to say that to me, Itachi countered. Then come up here and punish me. Come on. I do not need to come up there, I can force your teammate to bring you to me easily enough. The older Uchiha brother said, satisfied as his eyes turned into their Sharingan state and then evolved into the superior form. Here comes the Hakugen, Naruto said. Sharingan, Itachi corrected bitterly. Hakugen, Gary Stu Ingen, Sharingan. The same, the Ninetales replied, shrugging. You'll see. The Uchiha missing nin said as the same eye pattern appeared on Naruto's eyes, making him slowly move down to be eye level with the Akatsuki member. But I wanted to fight the giant sword, Kisame said, whining. Next time. See, brother? You came to me, now, K-2. The ball of spit could have easily filled an Olympic pool, and it slammed on Itachi's whole body with the strength of a speeding truck, covering him from head to toe in a sticky mess of saliva with the consistency of slime and the rancid smell of digested lunch. Bawahahahaha. You thought you were dealing with a Biju? Too bad, instead it was me. Ninetales. The Demon Lord said in cruel amusement as he pointed at himself with his massive thumb while his eyes returned to normal. Kono Ninetales da, you know, I think I will upgrade you to best friend after this. Sasuke admitted, impressed. Peeved hoo. Why you need a hand? Kisame, whose face was more red than blue now, asked with a weak voice as he barely held back his laughs. Once cleaned his face from the muck covering him, Itachi gave short screams of disgust as he tried to remove as much spit from his person as he could without slipping. With the Sonin trio, you okay, bastard? Jiraiya asked, worried as he saw Orochimaru develop a serene expression on his face. Yes, you old pervert. I just finally saw my lifelong ambition being fulfilled. Watch somebody spit on the face of that pretentious brat. Orochimaru answered, sighing in satisfaction. So I can finally throw away the vat of spit back home? Kabuto asked with a way too hopeful expression. Vat of spit? Tsunade asked with a green face. Ever since the incident between Itachi and Orochimaru-sama years ago, my master has kept spitting in a special vat to collect it in the hope to repay Itachi for his transgression. For fuck's sake, man. The guy was 3 years old. You do still hold a grudge for his spitting on your new sandals then? For real? Jiraiya said in disbelief. They were new. But now it's no longer my concern. I plan to take Sasuke's body for the Sharingan and then use him as a bait to capture Itachi and drown him in my vat of grief-marinated spit and let him feel the combined weight of my grudge against him. But that brat actually managed to give me the spectacle I was hoping for, so now I can finally put that issue to rest. Orochimaru answered. So you will let me be? Sasuke asked hopeful. I will still take your eyes, but you can keep your body as I will just transplant them. Contrary to popular belief, you can transplant them and properly train them if you know what you are doing as a medic. So be a dear and gouge out your eyes and give them to me like a good boy. The snake Sonin answered. But then I will be blind, Sasuke answered horrified. We all have to make sacrifices at some point. Orochimaru answered shrugging. You psychotic bastard. So it's a no? It's a fuck no? Che. Youngsters these days, they do not respect their elders anymore. Enough. Itachi said as a giant construct of chakra covered him, taking the shape of a cloak-covered warrior. Now you can summon avatars of chakra. Any other ability you want to pull out of your ass? Ninetails asked, shaking his head. Get ready, Kisame. Yep, time to work. The man's companion answered, removing half the bandages covering his sword while smirking savagely. Bring it. The demon lord said in glee and headbutting the chakra construct, making both that and Itachi skim backwards. I am gonna cut your tails shorter, brat, Kisame yelled as he jumped high from the side with his samahata held to the side. Clang. In answer, the massive blade 9 strikes came down with merciless anger, slamming the blue-skinned Akatsuki in a crater as he had barely the time to raise his sword to guard himself. Phew. You weighed a ton, boy, Kisame said, excited as his knees buckled a little under the weight of the blade above his head. I am big-boned. The giant fox answered as Itachi was once again up to his face. Tsukuyomi. The Uchiha yelled. Jia. You disgusting freak. Itachi growled in disgust once the two returned in themselves. Hey. Not a fan of furry porn? Brr. Your mind is a cesspool. You wanted to peek into my mind, you got my memories of last night. What are you talking about? Sakura asked, curious. Personal matters, and I would like to see you take part 2 to the fight. Okay. Sasuke said as the cursed seal, his teammate, modified, for him, activated, turning his skin gray and his eyes black. Is that lipstick? Sakura asked, smirking. No comment, the other growled in answer. But it does suit you, thank you, but I still don't want to talk about it. Orochimaru. Itachi roared. Hey, I just gave him a cursed seal. If it gives him lipstick, it is not my fault. It means he is a drag queen deep inside. I am not. Sasuke shrieked in answer as hand-like wings sprouted from his back. That too is not my fault. Can we please fight? I am starting to get tired here, Kisame yelled, annoyed while still trying to not be squished by Ninetail's sword. Whatever, Chidori. Sasuke yelled as in a burst of speed he pounced on Itachi with his right hand covered in black lightning. Peef. That was very anticlimactic. The young genin said as his jutsu sizzled against the towering Susanoo jutsu around Itachi without piercing it. Susanoo is the ultimate defensive jutsu of the Sharingan, Sasuke. Almost nothing can break through it, especially if elemental-based. You still have a long way to go. Itachi answered, flicking his little brother on the forehead, making him growl annoyed. Hacks. I call hacks. The young boy answered. We'll have this discussion again the day you will unlock this version of the Sharingan, then you'll tell me. No. Don't you dare. I dare. Tsukuyomi. Itachi answered, making Sasuke faint instantly and return to normal. Can I? Sakura asked. Yes, please. Both Akatsuki answered, letting the girl recover the fainted Uchiha to take him away. What are you showing him? Ninetails asked. The same thing I saw you doing. I think my eyes will be forever spoiled from what I saw. Virgin. Both Kisame and the giant fox yelled at the same time. I am not virgin, and you get out from under there. Okay. Kisame said, finally jumping away from the giant sword to return to Itachi's side. Meanwhile, Ora! Kaya! Manda the snake summon boss shrieked in a high pitch as Tsunade grabbed the tip of his tail and started twirling him around at ludicrous speed. Keep it together, damn you! Orochimaru growled furious as Jiraiya's Rasengan drilled a giant hole on his chest, forcing him to spit out a new body. Hey, that's unfair, the Toad Sage yelled offended. So is using a seal less jutsu? Is that Minato's creation though? How is it done? The Snake Master replied. Oh, that's easy. You just have to can't blame me for trying, Kabuto. I am kinda occupied, Orochimaru-sama. Ga. The glasses-wearing young man answered as he once barely avoided Tsunade's summon Katsuyu's acid spit. Gamabunta. Here I am, Manda, Orochimaru countered. Incoming. The snake summon answered, crash landing next to him once thrown away. Katsuyu. I am here, Tsunade Dono, the giant slug said, joining here. So, here we are, rock, paper, scissors summon style, Jiraiya said with narrowed eyes. You didn't stop me back there, what makes you think now it will be? Cherry bomb. They heard Ninetales scream as dozen bombs the size of a small house rained around them. Oh. The Sonin trio plus summons muttered with wide eyes as even more bombs appeared. Back in Konoha, Hokage Tower, so bored, Hiruzen said whining. Kratakabom. Wah. I want a cool fight to the death too. I am tired of just signing papers, the old man said, crying childishly as the shockwave managed to launch him and the desk outside his office and even uproot the roof of the houses closer to the village entrance. Back to the fight. Is everybody alive? Tsunade asked, coughing loudly as she dug her way out from under the groaning and singed giant body of Katsuyu. I am okay, Jiraiya said with a broken voice before falling down face first in a dead faint. Ooh. I will feel it tomorrow, Gamabunta said, groaning before dispelling along Katsuyu and Manda, the latter needing a second snake to drag him along because too unconscious to dispel alone. Where is Orochimaru? Tsunade asked, looking around. Not too far away, hold on, Orochimaru-sama. We are almost there, the still smoking Kabuto said, holding the well-cooked snake Sonin on his back. You used my body as a shield, bastard, the man replied in tired anger. I am sorry, master, it was mere instincts. Then you are instinctively a bastard. I am sorry, master. Shove it, Kabuto. Yes, master, the young man answered, sighing. Back to Tsunade. That was one hell of a bang, the woman admitted, dragging her friend behind her. Need some help? She asked. Nah, I am holding up well enough. Galestorm. The Ninetales answered, summoning a strong gust of wind that launched Kisame up in the air with his own version of the goofy scream. Stay still. Itachi ordered, summoning once again the towering Susanoo avatar around himself to punch the giant demon. Ow. Inferno. The other replied, summoning an explosion of fire in front of the Akatsuki member. You want a battle of flames? Itachi replied coldly. No, I want you dead, mortal. Power slash. The demon lord answered, surprising the Uchiha by cutting a deep gash in the Susanoo armor. The feeling is mutual, now burn. Amaterasu. Somebody called me. The young girl with long white hair and red markings answered, appearing between the two and getting covered in black flames immediately after. Is this the way to welcome a goddess? The girl replied, huffing as she gently patted her body until the black flames died down without damaging her. Goo? Itachi muttered with wide eyes while Kisame finally came down from his flight to land head first behind him. What? Amaterasu asked, confused. You are appearing before a mortal. They are no longer used to you others coming down in person. Why are you here? Ninetales asked, grumbling. You mean to tell me you are Amaterasu? Itachi asked. In answer, the girl turned into a giant white wolf with red markings and the sun itself shining behind its head. The very air was filled in her godhood, and flowers kept blooming all around her as the sky cleared of the few clouds in it. It was not a matter of showing she was the real deal. The others simply knew they were in front of the mother of all gods herself just by meeting her eyes. Show off, Naruto said, huffing as he returned to being human. I won't take that jab from you, my dear fox, Amaterasu answered, smiling amused. Che. The blonde boy hissed in contempt. Holy shit. Tsunade said in surprise. Likewise. Itachi added. Ehm. I am not a believer. Am I in trouble? Kisame asked while raising his hand. Depends. You still want to hunt down my little love boy? She asked back. I am not your love boy. You plowed the divine ass of Amaterasu, now you take responsibilities. Fine. He answered grumbling. You and her? Tsunade asked. It happened. The reincarnated demon lord answered shrugging. It happened implies it was a one-time deal. We do it thrice a week. It means the thing is serious, Amaterasu said huffing. She is right. Sakura said. Isn't it blasphemy? Having sex with a god I mean, Kisame whispered. Not if she likes it, the blonde answered smirking. Dragging gods in this is unfair, Itachi tried saying. I won't always intervene, have no fear. The goddess answered laughing as she returned into being a short girl with long white hair. Just go, you two. You can't win. The toad sage, now finally awake, said with a meaningful look. You were lucky, next time it won't be so, Itachi answered grabbing his companion's shoulder. Hey, wait. I can still fight. Let me the blue-skinned man tried saying as both disappeared in a forced shunshin. What? The renowned super pervert asked confused by the others looking at him. Does Itachi, by chance, work for you? The slug queen asked with crossed arms. It was really that evident? The old man answered with a shy tone and blush. A tiny bit. Luckily his partner was not exactly the world's sharpest blade and probably didn't catch it, the woman replied groaning. And you, sigh. Let me guess, you people want some answers. The reincarnated demon lord said sighing. Yes please. The two sages plus pink-haired girl answered as one. It goes without saying that this will be the secret, talk and you'll be in trouble. The sun goddess answered with narrowed eyes. Of course. Just help me wake up, family issues. Here then say we'll talk and explain. Naruto said with a defeated tone. 1 hour later. In a new bar the whole group sat at the most isolated table they could find and using both slugs and toads to be sure nobody could eavesdrop, when the blonde boy finally decided the coast was clear enough for him to talk freely. So, what do you want to know? The former demon lord asked yawning. Start with a rapid rundown, then we'll see where to go from there, the toad sage answered. Very well, in short. Yami was the so-called supreme master of all things evil, and my previous boss. Every day covering the world with his darkness more, bringing misery in the hearts of mortals and stuff like that until one day, feeling the itch, he got frisky with a dryad. The plant demon got knocked up and the drama queen darkness incarnate made a running without recognizing the half-plant brat as his own. Years passed and centuries after Amaterasu kills Yami the dryad finally gives birth dying as soon as she delivers the baby. By now too weak to do anything the small mistake of nature can only feed on the spilled blood of thousands of people dying during a centuries-long war happening not too far away from where he was born. Bloated with blood like the greedy bastard it was, just like Daddy Dearest himself was, the son of Yami, named Fuko. Misery, grows into a giant evil tree and tries to devour every life form on the damn planet. Then comes this moon tribe woman that attracted by the tree's power eats its only fruit, aka poor Fuko-chan's testicles. And for some arbitrary reason she obtains his powers. Mad with power she then goes all blah 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 plans to conquer the world blah blah until she gets pregnant and gives birth. Sometime later still she fuses with the poor bastard Fuku's, eunuch, tree form to become a full-fledged demon and once took over the resulting monstrosity she gets sealed inside one of her sons that then splits the so-called Jubi into 9 parts called Biju. One of which is the new body yours truly will then use to be reincarnated thanks to Amaterasu here in her vile plan to turn me into a good guy. Naruto explained. Did I said everything right? Yes, but my plan was not vile, I was just giving to a stubborn fox a second chance because I saw your potential to be good. Amaterasu answered huffing haughtily. Exactly. It was a vile and cruel plan. Blee. The sun goddess answered while sticking out her tongue. Ooh. I am too sober for this, Tsunade said groaning. Pansies. And before all this you were? Jiraiya asked confused. One of the generals of the Lord of Darkness Yami. At the time I used to have issues with the gods so I easily accepted to become a general in exchange of godly powers and the possibility to get revenge. The blonde boy answered. Oh. Sounds familiar, Sasuke? He asked smirking. A bit. The other answered sheepish. Let's continue, I need more details. Tsunade said rubbing her eyes tiredly. As you wish, but it won't get any better. Hurrah, was the chorused and tone-dead answer of the group. Several days later. Hokage office. Ho ho ho. Glad to see you accepted. What took you so long? The old man Hiruzen asked happily. Had to digest some details about this job and other things. Tsunade answered with bloodshot eyes. And wait for them to no longer be completely wasted, not that my teammates were any better, Naruto added laughing. Try to see things from our point of view, Sasuke said groaning. Nope. Not interested, the other answered. So you scarred your teammates and everybody else into drinking to forget the trauma? Hiruzen asked with a proud smile. Yup. Good boy. The old man said laughing. They're too much alike. The two Sonin muttered sighing. Very well. Now that Tsunade clearly accepted the job, it means I can finally retire and spend my days training and hunting like I used to do when I was young. Hiruzen said happily while cracking his back. Hunting animals? Sakura asked. Yeah, those two, sometimes. The old man answered lamely. A new round of groans came in answer for that. Oh, by the way, your girlfriend accepted sharing her home with your new friend Yakumo. The former demon lord muttered with bulged-out eyes. Good job, lover boy. You are as much a Casanova as I used to be when I was your age to have two girls living together like that, Hiruzen added, giving him a thumbs up. Who? What? How? The young man asked in horror. Don't ask me, it was all Kuranai's doing. Seeing his eyes turning hellish red, Hiruzen and the others dove for cover just in time to dodge his explosive reaction, one far from being amusing to watch closely. Right outside the tower, Kuranai. The clearly not human roar that shook the tower and washed over the whole village caused everybody hearing it to tremble in fear and wonder what could have happened to have the normally cheerful and friendly blonde boy scream like a monster out for blood. Said woman though knew the reason behind that immeasurable rage, and as she bolted the doors and windows of her home before hiding under her bed, she once again berated herself for her petty answer to the blonde's decision to not help her. Sometimes revenge is not worth it, she muttered, shivering as a new bestial scream made her house tremble heavily. The end. Thanks for watching. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.